Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, right, let's get a cup of tea. Nope, a cup of coffee. This has actually been out for an hour. I hope it's still hot. That is literally not going to do anything. I got one of those barista style coffee machines recently. It was a Christmas present. I love it. I was going to do lots of coffee content. But you have to descale it. So I was descaling it the other day and then it wasn't quite like the video that I was watching for the make and model. So now I just don't trust it, and I've rinsed it through, like pulled the water through 4 to 5 times when you're meant to do it like 2 or 3 times. I don't trust it anymore because like I grind my own coffee beans now. Oh yes. I figure that for the meantime, until I'm sure that there's no more descaler in it, I'm just going to use a coffee press. I've already had one of these today, but I figure like it waters it down, right? Because I used the whole thing. So I might have a panic attack. I might not. We're here for 3 hours anyway, so let's see how it goes. This is coconut milk, so it's not gone off. This has all been sat out for like an hour whilst I've been doing my makeup. Let's have a little tea party, little coffee party together. Isn't that sweet? I like mine to be milky. Though, do you know what? Because I've seen some people say, you can't enjoy coffee unless you like enjoy it black. It's like, okay, do you guys not season any of your normal food then? Do you not use like salt or spice? Right. Regardless, I've actually found that since grinding my own coffee beans, I can drink it black because it's nice and smooth and not bitter like the instant stuff. But anyway, let's just have sugar everywhere. I prefer it to be milky with coconut milk, though oat isn't too bad. Almond, is emulsify the right word? This is not a coffee video, this is a book video, but let's get cozy, yeah? Coffees and books. Almond milk separates, whereas coconut milk and oat milk doesn't, but I prefer coconut milk. Who is texting me? I'm now getting push notifications from the National Lottery app. And it'll be like, we've got a winner, and the winner isn't me, but they're just trying to tempt me into gambling. Should we just have a little look? I'm going to be with you guys for literally the next 3 hours straight because this is a long book review. It's a Colleen Hoover one. So let's just have a little chat and catch up first. Do you know what? I need the extra sugar. I don't think I do need the extra sugar. Let's just go. Is it still hot? Oh, no, it's not. I'm filthy. I can drink it. It's fine. Should I put it in the microwave? No. No, I'll just pretend it's a warm coffee. I'll just pretend it's an iced coffee that got a bit warmer. An iced coffee that's been left in the car. I'm so cozy at the moment. I bought these slippers and they've got like a skull. Like a skeleton, that's the word. Anyway, right. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, it was my birthday. So happy birthday to me. I had a whole birthday week. Evangelina sent me a meme where it was like, Aquarius doesn't want to do anything for their birthday, then turns their birthday into a 3-day rave. I literally had a birthday week where I had like 4 separate birthday things go on. So that was really nice. And then I was threatening this week to have a pizza party. And it was a threat. For my friends that couldn't come to my birthday party, I wanted to do like a little pizza party. Maybe I will do in February. When's this video going to be up? Hopefully January still. So anyway, it was my birthday. Thank you very much. My PayPal is in the description. I'm joking. I'm not joking. Some of you are crazy. Like one time, I'm not going to say how much, but one time someone sent me like a good chunk of change for my birthday, and I was like, "Are you okay?" I'm not sure I would do that. Well, depends on the person, I suppose. Anyway, yes, it was my birthday. I am older, and yet I feel more immature than ever before. And it was a bit of a bittersweet one, to be honest. First year without, I feel like, because I don't go too much. I mean, you guys like know who I am because I am quite open and honest, but then there are things that I keep private. I don't like going into too much detail because you shouldn't give people who don't like you ammunition, and people are like scum. People will so use your dead relatives like against you to troll you. There are gonna be some people here right now who are gonna be like, what? Who does that? And it's like, you can tell who never went onto 4chan as a teenager. Anyway, so I need to down this because this is not nice. This is how I get my kicks now. Actually, I never have more than 1 cup of coffee. I'm probably going to panic attack and die at some point. Oh, yes, that's what I was going to say. My phone, I think you could, don't zoom into that actually. My phone is now grayscaled because I'm trying to be more productive, and my phone, considering I had a bunch of birthday parties last week, my screen time for last week was like 40 hours. How? to be fair, a good 10 hours of that was like mobile games, right? So you guys know about this. There was this alien game that I'm just gonna have to like block this whole part out as intro. So if you want to get to the actual video, you're gonna have to skip 10 minutes ahead, because I've not, my boyfriend's at work, right? I've not rung anyone. I've literally not spoken all fucking day. So it's getting to me. I'm getting cabin fever just for being alone for like 8 hours. There's this game called Alien Invasion RPG, right? And I played it a lot last year when I was in hospital dealing with stuff going on. It was like my distraction, yeah. And it's a really stupid, really grindy, repetitive game. The developers have been teasing new worlds for like a year, but they're not, like, they've just done a new world, and it's honestly not worth the year-long wait, right? So I got fed up with that game, but I kept playing it because I liked the stupid grindy element of it. And then I decided I'm just going to make my own version. And then that didn't happen because my friend never got back to me about doing that together, because I don't know how to make video games on mobile games. And then I found an octopus version of the Alien game where they literally just cloned the map and then made it all like sea themed. So I was playing that. And then I found a dinosaur version, right? And you can upgrade the dinosaur and it looks like a Digimon. It gets like guns on its back. And then I found a Ghostbusters version, and this is all the same fucking game, but just in all these different versions. So I didn't need to make my own one. But anyway, I will like watch TV in the evening, and I'll just be playing these little games. So a good 10 hours of my 40 hours last week was just me playing these games. But I was like, that is disgusting. 40 hours of mobile screen time in 1 week. That is literally a working fucking week. That's 8 hours a day over a 5-day period. That is a working week of me just staring at my phone. So, little trick. I need to get my life in order. So I've grayscaled my screen, and I've barely been using my phone today because my ADHD is like, grey, boring. So there's a tip. Also, it's still light outside because I've not been using my phone. I've just been getting on with doing my makeup. I know, it looks beautiful. It actually doesn't. I'm so annoyed. My makeup was really nice, and then I sprayed too much setting spray on it, and then like my eyes started to tear up, and then I just, whatever, disaster. Anyway, it's still light. And I'm about to embark on this like 3-hour-long odyssey. So that's really good. All of this to say, I'm going to try and be so much more productive and get more work done. But here's the thing. I was going to make like a video and like just complain about this. But then it's like, I no longer have any places to go. Okay, so hopefully they're not listening right now. I'm so fed up of... So there's like a corporate side to YouTube, which is, of course there is, but also it sounds silly to like say that. And I'm so fed up of doing everything seemingly wrong. Things just work against me all the time, right? So it's like, I don't really like having to do one thing over and over because of my personality or because of my ADHD, whatever it is. I like to be multifaceted. I don't like to make one defining thing my personality. I've not been getting any sponsors, right? No one wants to work with me. Tesco's gave a sponsorship to some TikToker who I'm not fond of, who shall remain nameless, but me, no. I know some of you are going to be like, oh, boo-hoo, the poor YouTuber's not getting any sponsorships. I guess that would be kind of my reaction. But I don't think I realised until recently just how much sponsorships made up the chunk of my sort of pie. Oh, the coffee's hitting. I can feel it now. My pie chart of my income. So it's like, oh, no wonder I've no money every month. I'm missing out chunks. I'm not getting sponsorships. When I first started this channel, I was doing a mixture of things, but when the drama content started to hit off, I started just doing more drama content with the occasional odd video here and there that wouldn't perform too well. And then I got fed up of doing drama content, so I pivoted over to books. And then I got fed up of only doing book content, so it started to become a mix again. And that's why I've been getting less sponsorships. But like, no one tells you this. No one tells you, unless you ask, which I have found out this kind of stuff recently. I'm sure some of you don't care, but there might be some fledgling YouTubers out there, or there might be some... Here's the thing that gets me. Oh my God, we're never going to start this fucking video, and I've got like 90 pages of script to get through. Here's the thing that gets me. I watch, there are these like so many of these little like Fallout New Vegas channels, yeah, and I watch them and they've got like 10k subscribers, and obviously I don't comment on like these people's videos because I just don't want to seem like an attention seeker in some way, because I know my channel has like 200,000 subscribers, so I don't want it to, I don't know. I've asked some of my friends about this and they've also said, no, I get what you mean, because you don't want to be like an attention seeker in some capacity, but then it might push them up in the... I don't know. There's no fucking handbook on the decorum of big YouTuber. I watch these channels that have like 10,000 followers and they do these New Vegas videos, and do you know what, maybe I'll shout, do you know what, best of both worlds, I'll shout them out right now. Who do I follow that does for New Vegas content? Let's see. I watch all these like mod channels. I've just downloaded, this will tie in, I just downloaded loads of mods. Mutant Mods, that's one of the ones that I actually, he's got 130,000. There's someone I watched, they've got like 5,000 or 10,000. I remember. Maybe I'll mention in the next video. And I thought to myself the other day, well, I've got X amount of followers, and like I know that when you're at, because I was there at one point, when you're at 5,000, something like 200,000 followers seems like massive, right? And then you get there and you're like, Jake Paul's got 20 million. I'm not bitter. I am. All of this to say, maybe there's someone watching my channel right now who, like some secret millionaire YouTuber who's got like 1 million followers or like 5 million followers. You just don't know who's on the other side and who's watching your videos. If any big YouTubers are watching me, it was my birthday last week. My PayPal is in my description. Or there, I have my book, The Prime Minister's Porky Mistress, on Amazon, $2.99. I'm going to do a, fuck me, you can tell I've not spoken to anyone today. I'm going to write a story about Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips, but I'm gender swapping them. I'm going to try and get it done this week with my phone. They all ties together. I just hit myself with the head of my phone. With this grayscaled out, I can't be as old as I actually am, of which you guys will never really know. I'm like Gakto-san. Gakt, the Japanese. No one really knows how old he is, and I quite like that. It's mysterious, yeah? We should all know less about each other. I shouldn't be as old as I am, acting as buffoonish as I do. Oh yeah, corporate. Right, so no one gives you a handbook to tell you how to like manage yourself and how to make, and it's like, that's so annoying that you have to try and make yourself sellable to these advertisers, to these like faceless entities and corporations who don't give a fuck about you, because like, why should they really? Like, would I in that position? No. But I have to make myself like seemingly as marketable as possible to get sponsorships. But because I've been doing a mixture of content on my channel instead of like one sole thing, it's harder to sell me as a brand. That's so annoying and so corporate to me. But like, you know, the sponsorships could just be paying my rent every month, and then maybe I'd have some savings if, you know, so it's like finding this balancing act. So I want to start, but I have been doing drama on my second channel. Go check it out. The show, I'm going to like rebrand the channel. Like, actually, I'll keep Too Alizee, Too Furious, because that's funny. I thought that was an original idea, but it wasn't. I need to calm down. I might rebrand and put like a banner on it or whatever, because I'm doing this show called The Trough, and it's about hot slop, fresh. So that's going to be like my weekly drama show, like 5 to 7 uploads every week, like ideally a upload for every weekday, and then maybe more if there's, you know, more to talk about. And it's low effort commentary drama content, because I'm fed up of these men who don't do their makeup and don't even wash their hair, making tens of thousands, and some of them don't even show their faces, making tens of thousands of dollars a month, stealing it from me. I deserve it more. I'm funnier than them. So my second channel is going to be the drama / trending topics / celebrity, like, or / slagging off Elon Musk channel. Yeah. But, you know, so I'm going to keep this one just solely like book related stuff. So long form book reviews. The Neil Gaiman video did well, as it should. So it's about a serious topic. You know, stuff that's just book adjacent, I'm keeping on this one. But then it's like, but then if I want to do my mockumentaries, which when I've, you know, managed to, maybe if I get a sponsorship back, like, Raid, where are you? Love me. Why won't you love me? I'll be able to save up and do some mockumentaries again, because I've got quite a few. And I want to do some more, like, not serious documentaries. Never serious, but I do want to go around the country to, like, you know, supernatural hotspots and just make some sort of ratchet documentary, right? But then it's like, so I'm going to have to make a third channel just for that. And then what about the videos? Like right now I'm just yapping and I'm shoehorning it into this video somehow. But sometimes I just want to yap. So am I going to have to make a fourth channel just for that? And then what about when I finally do my gaming content that I've been threatening to do for ages? Am I going to have to have a fifth channel? Oh my God, this is so annoying. I'm going to need an assistant just to keep track of all these things, right? And make sure I'm uploading on them all regularly enough. I'm going to have to live on the internet like, you know, Charlie Moist Critical does. But then at the same time, Nick Avocado has like 10 channels and he doesn't care. So why should, and doesn't Jack's Film have like 5 channels? And so why should I feel silly? Because it makes sense. Obviously, if I've been doing book content on here for ages, as soon as I start doing drama content, I've not garnered that audience on this channel. So it makes sense to separate everything. I'm not a PewDiePie or an Emma Chamberlain where I can just like put up, or Tana Mojo actually, where I can just put up whatever on this channel and it sticks, right? So it all makes sense, but just, I don't know, it's so annoying. Like, because I don't want to have to be a bit more corporate and professional about what I do. Me, professional, as if I don't want to have to be corporate about these things. And yet I have to, because Alizee Yeezy, redacted, is a brand. Imagine this mess being a brand. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to do my Bonnie Blue video book, and I'm going to do that this week. And if in a month's time you see me make 10 separate channels for 10 separate niches or genres, mind your business. Welcome to my channel and my video, everyone. So for today's video, we are going to go over another Colleen. Oh, I love her. Ugh, why am I talking like that? So gross. We're going to go over another Colleen Hoover book review. We're going to do Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. And how aptly titled is that? So, first thing to note about this book, instead of chapter titles, we have dates and times. See here. How quirky. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if that first rambling 20 minutes of nothing didn't put you off. And check out my merchandise store, ayclothing.tmall.com. If you buy my merch and buy my book, I won't need sponsorships. I won't need to be begging Raid to give me another chance. Why don't they love me? Do you know what's funny? I've seen some of you theorize that I've actually never genuinely had a Raid sponsorship. I've just, you know, taken the piss and pretended that would be so funny of me if I did that. Maybe I should. Oh, also, I might be rebranding my podcast channel as well to a weekly talk show with Angelina Scov. If I do everything I threaten to do, I might actually do a 40-day work week and not be so, what my mum used to call me, a work-shy fop. Is fop a bad word? I'm going to look that up quickly. A foolish or silly person. Oh my God, that's so me. Let's get on with the video. Sunday, October 28, 2012, 7:29 p.m. in the Big Brother house. The narrator, the nameless narrator so far, is trying not to cry and then starts chucking stuff around. Me, honestly. And then she smashes a mirror and then destroys a dresser. I take the top one and throw it against the wall with as much force as my 5'3" frame can muster. But she lets us know how petite she is while she's doing it. It's also the return of my editor, aka my unemployed friend on a Tuesday afternoon who I do stuff with, my friend Rob, who also edited The Prime Minister's Porky Mistress and has to edit all of, and is a genuine, accomplished writer, and yet his name is forever going to be tarred with helping edit my horrible parodica. As she's so small and petite, I wonder if the men in this will take her seriously. Then a bloke called Holder grabs and holds her, get it, while she yells at him not to. See, literally, by the very next sentence, a man is not taking her seriously on account of her being 5'3", I assume. 5'8" supremacy. Someone once said, "You strike me as short." What? How dare you? Anyway, our protagonist is called Sky. Then Holder tells her to leave. Saturday, August 25th, 2012. 11:50 p.m. 2 whole months earlier. Sky is 17. Spare me. I don't care. I think this book is actually meant to be young adult, which is funny because the amount of gratuitousness, shall we say, later on, we'll get there. She's sneaking someone called Grayson into her bedroom. Despite what this may look like, I am not a slut. Unless, of course, the definition of slut is based on the fact that I make out with lots of people, regardless of my lack of attraction to them. In that case, one might have grounds for debate. Sky also has a friend called Six. I think Colleen Hoover was wine drunk again when she wrote this, and she was looking around the room for things that she could use as character names. Holder, Six, Sky, Bin, royalty check. And Six is currently letting a guy called Jackson go through her window. I hope this isn't the same Jackson as the one from the Bully series. We will do Rival after this book, don't worry, and then Midnight Sun, and then, oh my God, I'm going to be so productive just because I've made my phone screen grey. Am I this much of a baboon? Am I this easy to control? I fear I am. I fear I'm no better than everyone I criticise. Six and I have been joined at the hip since the day she moved in next door 4 years ago. Our bedroom windows are adjacent to each other, which has proven to be extremely convenient. Things started out innocently enough. When we were 14, I would sneak into her room at night and we would steal ice cream from the freezer and watch movies. When we were 15, we started sneaking boys in to eat ice cream and watch movies with us. By the time we were 16, the ice cream and movies took a back seat to the boys. Now at 17, we don't even bother leaving our respective bedrooms until after the boys go home. That's when the ice cream and movies take precedent again. That is so young adult coded. Also, 16 and sneaking boys around, how cute, laughs in degenerate English. Six goes through boyfriends like I go through flavors of ice cream. Right now her flavor of the month is Jackson. Mine is Rocky Road. Did Hoover just make a joke? Not a very good one, but I respect... Do I? I think I'm lying. I respect that she tried. Grayson is definitely hot. Like I care about the looks of a dorky teenager. Thank God these quirky teens can pull hot boys. I wouldn't enjoy it if they were pond scum. The majority of girls I know would feel privileged just to be in the same room as him. Colleen Hoover, setting back feminism one sentence at a time. He places his hands on my cheeks and flashes his panty-dropping grin. Hey, beautiful. How are terms like panty-dropping grin not satire? That is it. I'm writing a parody coho book and there's nothing that she can do to stop me, and I've already written out the thing. Such an author. The outline. I just need to get through. So I'm going to be doing first a anthology, a series of shorts called The Cabinet of Horrors about politicians from a specific period of time too. Just before Brexit. Politicians in this country. And each story takes like different influence. Let me guess in the comment section below if you can match up like what is what. So I won't say the politicians' names because it'll be a surprise. But one of them is low-key based on A Christmas Carol with Ebenezer Scrooge. One of them is based on The Odyssey. One of them is based on The Hangover. I feel like that one's so obvious. One of them is going to be like a child's morality tale. And in another one of them, Porcina will return. So that'll be fun. And then once I've got the Cabinet of Horrors out of the way, I'm reading Oblomov at the moment. And I'm going to do a modern day retelling of Oblomov with a certain man that I used to like, but I hate now being the main character because he can't take a joke. And Oblomov, to me, the concept of it is really funny because most of the novel takes place whilst this guy is just lying in bed, and I was like, oh my god, that is so me. So anyway, once I've gotten all these shorts out of the way and, you know, the body blue one that I've just decided that I'm going to do this week. Oh, that's what I was going to say as well. My birthday this year was bittersweet because, you know, it was these are the first Christmas without my close family relative. The first birthday after, and then it'll be like the first anniversary, like their first birthday, and then like the anniversary of their death and stuff. So it's been very like bittersweet and a bit like head fucky. That's why I'm gonna work a lot. I'm gonna work through it. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, once the shorts are out of the way, then I'm going to start doing like the novels. Oh my god, no one steal this idea because I copyrighted just now. I'm going to do a modern day version of The Idiot. But instead of like, you know, sweet, lovely, innocent, brilliant, wise Prince Mushkin, it's going to be Joe Rogan. I'm kind of like weirdly obsessed with him. I don't know what it is. Like, I can't stand him. And the misinformation he spouts, especially about veganism. But then he's so like culturally relevant and iconic. He just appears in everything I write. Anyway. Do you know what I think of? Let's get back to the script. Let me stop yapping. That's what you guys are here for. You love it. Do you know what I think of regularly? That one time in Maybe Someday when Ridge describes how he and What's-Her-Face like to sit on a sofa together for an entire paragraph. The joke is on me. Coho lives in my head rent-free. Sky lives with her adoptive mother, Karen, who homeschools her because public school is the root of all evil. Is this a stand-in for Coho? No, because Karen's vegan. But after much begging, she lets Sky enroll for her senior year at high school so she can be a normal teen. Oh, by the way, no, let's get this out of the way now. Content warning for this book, because the first half, While some things are quite obvious, the first half is set up to be a much different book than the latter half. So content warning for trauma, for repressed memories, PTSD, child abuse, and sexual abuse. And those two last ones, trying to get demonetized, getting put together. Seriously, the first 50% of this book is like, so the shift, even though it is foreshadowed clumsily, the shift is quite, oh, remember when they were just talking about eating ice cream? Anyway, my lack of access to the real world has been replaced completely by books, and it can't be healthy to live in a land of happily ever afters. Well, not if you're reading Coho. Sky is already guilty by association for being friends with Six, who gets laid. Grayson walks back towards the bed after ensuring my door is locked, and he shoots me a seductive grin. How about a little striptease? He sways his hips and inches his shirt up, revealing his hard-earned set of abs. I'm beginning to notice he flashes them any chance he gets. He's pretty much your typical self-absorbed bad boy. A teenage boy having abs doesn't impress me much. Talk to me when your metabolism dies. Teenagers have abs despite diets of Monster Energy, kebabs and cigarettes. It's low-key my diet now. Replace Monster Energy with coffee and kebabs with vegan kebabs and cigarettes with cigarettes. They are making out even though Sky feels nothing for it or him. There are 76 of them, stars that is, on her ceiling. I know this because for the last few weeks I've had ample time to count them while I've been in the same predicament. Me lying unnoticeably unresponsive while Grayson explores my face and neck and sometimes my chest with his curious, overexcited lips. Why, if I'm not into this, do I let him do it? This is a great thing to be telling your young adult, and yes, this book is YA on purpose for once, audience. Six and I have analysed my lack of physical response to guys many times in the past. For a while, she suspected I might be gay. After a very brief and awkward theory testing kiss between us when we were 16, we both concluded that wasn't the case. Well, Six is a really good friend. Though, maybe I'm reading too much into it. If Six isn't into Sky like that, then it's a risky game to play in case she did awaken feelings inside Sky, and then, Sky would start pining after her only friend. It's not like I don't enjoy making out with guys. I do enjoy it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. I just don't enjoy it for the same reasons of other girls. I've never been swept off my feet. I don't get butterflies. In fact, the whole idea of being swooned by anyone is foreign to me. Being swooned? What are you? A 1920s silent film lead? I'd say 95% of all the men I've ever kissed, I only felt something for because I was drunk or high in the first place. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. The real reason I enjoy making out with guys is simply that it makes me feel completely and comfortably numb. It's situations like the one I'm in with Grayson right now when it's nice for my mind to shut down. It just completely stops, and I like that feeling. Sounds healthy. Guess what? It's not. It's a repression mechanism. Grayson tries to take it further and Sky says no, and he's like, come on, and keeps trying it, and then he says he's fed up of her good girl act. Swoon. This brings me back to the fact that, contrary to popular belief, I am not a slut. I don't care, even if you were. Nothing to do with me. She notices he smells of alcohol and she wants him to leave. I'm sorry, he says. It's just that I want you so bad. I don't think I can take coming over here again if you don't let me have you. It's the way I know that Colleen actually finds that dead romantic. Six comes over and Sky kicks Grayson out. Six waits until Grayson has cleared the window. Then she climbs inside when one of the guys mumbles the word whores. Once inside, Six rolls her eyes and turns around to stick her head out. Funny how we're whores because you didn't get laid, assholes. Colleen, you feminist queen. They get interrupted by banging on the door. It's Karen, who wanted to find boys and is disappointed to not. Karen, Six says from behind us, if it makes you feel better, two hotties just made out of us, but we kicked them out right before you walked in because they were drunk. My jaw drops and I spin round to shoot Six a look that I'm hoping will let her know that her sarcasm isn't funny at all when it's the truth. Karen laughs. Well, maybe tomorrow night you'll find some cute sober boys. Okay, whatever. Then Karen starts crying because Six is leaving for a foreign exchange program or something. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention, but adios, Six. We never see her again. Anyway, crying annoys the heck out of Sky because she's so tough. Oh my God, she's me. Monday, August 27th, 2012, 7:15 a.m. Sky goes to her first day of school. Six has left her a list of pointers for surviving high school. The cafeteria. Avoid it at all costs. But if the weather is bad, just pretend you know what you're doing when you walk inside. They can smell fear. If you get Mr. Declare for maths, Sit in the back and don't make eye contact. He loves high school girls, if you know what I mean. Or better yet, sit in the front. It'll be an easy A. The list goes on, but I can't read anymore right now. I'm still stuck on the they can smell fear. Sky, I think you may have the wrong priorities. What about the Nancy teacher? Worry about that. Okay, Sky's mother, Karen, doesn't like technology, so Sky doesn't have a cell phone in case that becomes a plot point later, and it does. She spies on someone running around topless, then she goes to class. Did I say hell? Because that was putting it mildly. Public school is everything I was afraid it would be and worse. The classes aren't so bad, but I had to, out of pure necessity and unfamiliarity, use the restroom next to the science lab. And although I survived, I'll be scarred for life. A simple side note from 6 informing me that it's used more as a brothel than an actual restroom would have sufficed. So you can see with this novel, we're dealing with a cartoon again, not any semblance of reality. It's 4th period now, and I've heard the words slut and whore whispered not so subtly by almost every girl I've passed in the hallways. And speaking of not so subtle, the heap of dollar bills that just fell out of my locker, along with a note, were a good indicator that I may not be very welcome. The note was signed by the principal, but I find it hard to believe that based on the fact that your was spelled your. And the note said, sorry, you are locker didn't come with a pole, slut. I stare at the note in my hands with a tight-lipped smile, shamefully accepting my self-inflicted fate that this will be the next 2 semesters. I seriously thought people only acted this way in books, but I'm witnessing it firsthand that idiots actually exist. It must be exhausting to live inside a TV show where every possible moment in school is some kind of wacky scene. Sky pockets the money and tells the giggling mean girls, thanks. She goes to the cafeteria for lunch and some random guy takes her arm and pulls her along. I would object to this sudden disruption, but it's the most exciting thing that's happened to me all day. Good God, woman, how daft. From the looks of the back of him, he's got style, as strange as that style may be. He's wearing a flannel shirt that's edged with the exact same shade of hot pink as his shoes. His pants are black and tight and very figure-flattering, if he were a girl. Instead, the pants just accentuate the frailty of his frame. His dark brown hair is cropped short on the sides and a little longer on top. His eyes are staring at me. I realise we've come to a stop and he's no longer holding my hand. If it isn't the whore of Babylon, he grins at me. I bet a tenner he's gay. I don't know, something about the hot pink has you know, triggered my gaydar. Are we allowed to say that still? I don't know. So he's got a tray of food waiting for her. Who is this guy? You like to read? I asked, pointing at the book peering out of the top of his backpack. It's not a textbook. It's an actual book. Something I thought was lost on this generation of internet fiends. You are not special for reading books, especially as you exist in a Colleen Hoover novel. You're not special, full stop. What genre is it? And please don't say sci-fi, like you're better than sci-fi, Coho. Random guy wants to form an alliance with her against the idiots, jocks, bigots and bitches. I notice his nails are painted all black. He sees me observing his nails and he looks down at them and pouts. I went with black because it best depicts my mood today. Maybe after you agree to join me on my quest, I'll switch to something a bit more cheerful. Perhaps yellow. I shake my head. I hate yellow. Stick with black. It matches your heart. This was very cringy to me. I don't know, something about her response really cringed me out. Like, you don't know him well enough yet to be like, stick with black, it matches your heart. It's just, I don't know, cringy and weird. Anyway, F off. F off, everyone. What's your name, I ask? Brecken. You sound like you were named after a breakfast bar, not a good one. Brecken shrugs. I'm Brecken Sky 6 holder. That. Karen. I'm new here, and if you haven't deduced from my impeccable fashion sense, I think it's safe to say that He leans forward and cups his hand to his mouth in secrecy. Mormon, he whispers. I laugh, and here I was thinking you were about to say gay. That too, he says with a flick of his wrist. It would have been a real subversion of expectations if he wasn't stereotypically gay based on his appearance and tendency towards calling women bitches and whores alone. But alas, we're in a Colleen Hoover novel, so he has to be a stereotype. Hopefully he doesn't start sticking his hands down her bra in the next scene. Sky, I noticed you in class today and it's obvious you're new here too. And after seeing the stripper money fall out of your locker before 4th period, then witnessing your non-reaction to it, I knew we were meant to be. Also, I figure if we team up, we might prevent at least 2 unnecessary teenage suicides this year. So what do you say? Want to be my very bestest friend ever in the whole wide world? You're going to be annoying, aren't you? Monday, August 27th, 2012, 3:55 p.m. Brecken was also adopted. What are the odds of that? and his parents are hoping they can pray the gay out of him. My minimal portion of familial contribution is the weekly grocery shopping. Everything in our house is sugar-free, carb-free, and taste-free thanks to Karen's unconventional vegan way of life. Don't blame Karen being a freaky almond mum on veganism, Coho. Though I just know Coho thinks a meal isn't complete unless it clogs your arteries or lowers your life expectancy by 30%. I also just know that if one of her sons dated a vegan or vegetarian, she would accidentally cook meat into their food. Coho, I hate everything that you choose to be. People really tell on themselves when they assume vegan cooking is terrible. Maybe you just suck in the kitchen. It's like tofu. Tofu is a sponge. If your tofu tastes bad, that's on you, babe. Let me make you some Korean style tofu. I'll change your mind. I have a nice hiding spot for my secret stash in my bedroom. Most teenagers are stashing away cigarettes and weed. I stash away sugar. Teehee. I'm not like the other teens because I have cavities. She sees someone at the till from her English class. Aren't you in my science class? Shayla asks. English, I correct her. She shoots me a condescending look. I did speak English, she says defensively. I said, aren't you in my science class? Oh, holy hell. Maybe I don't want to be that blonde. So every woman but the MC and her one girlfriend are cartoon villains, huh? It's gonna be that kind of book, is it? Then Shayna starts flirting with a bloke. Hey, Holder, she says seductively towards him, flashing her full-lipped smile. Did she just bat her eyelashes? Yep, I'm pretty sure she just batted her eyelashes. I honestly thought that they only did that in cartoons. Oh god, even the book is self-aware its characters are cheap cartoon tropes. This is also the second reference to I thought they only did that, like in cartoons, that co-host made. So she is becoming unbelievably lazy. First it was books, now it's cartoons. Your characters are rubbish, Coho. It is actually your job to change that, not just gesture at them as though nothing could be done. I glance back to see who this Holder character is that somehow managed to wash away any semblance of self-respect Shayna/Shayla might have had. Don't you snog a new boy every week just to try to feel something. Don't throw stones in glass houses. Is he ignoring her? One of the prettiest girls in school practically gives him an open invitation. He acts like it's an inconvenience. Is he even human? This isn't how guys I know are supposed to react. Oh my god, he's not like the other boys. Holder points out Shayna wrote her name wrong on her name tag. She's just that dumb. Sky takes a peep at Holder and gets horny immediately because he's just that fit. The feeling is so foreign, I'm not sure what it is. I can't say what is so different about him that would prompt my first ever normal biological response to another person. However, I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone so incredibly like him before. He's beautiful. Not beautiful in the pretty boy sense, or even in the tough guy sense. Just a perfect mixture of in between. Not too big, but not at all small. Not too rough, not too perfect. These don't mean anything, by the way. This isn't a description. Not too big, not too small, not too rough, not too perfect. It doesn't mean anything. Should I go get some banana bread? My boyfriend made banana bread. I know. I should wife him up. I was listening to people talk about that, and I don't know. I'm just so not like the other girls. I couldn't give a shit about marriage. Like, I don't care. Imagine a day where everyone's just looking at you. Ugh. I mean, I would kind of love that at the same time, though. I think I'd pretend to hate it, but I'd kind of love it. But I don't care. Like, imagine me being like, I'm married, I'm now a wife. How weird would that be? No. The thing is, and don't tell him, sometimes he puts my videos on, so you better not be listening to this. I know that he'd marry me tomorrow if he could, if I gave him the go-ahead. I wear the trust in this relationship. He would argue that. God, imagine like having to put up with me. Like, imagine being in a relationship with me and having to put up with that. Do you know what I would do? I basically am MC Grinder from People Just Do Nothing. If you've never seen that show, it's so good. I feel like I've had too much coffee. I feel a bit funny. Doesn't matter. Maybe I should eat something. No, who cares? I feel like I'd get married and then I'd get annoyed and then I'd get divorced, but then I would get remarried to the same person. I feel like that'd be so me. See, this is the thing. There are many people who would choose to put up with that. My boyfriend so would though. How nice. Maybe I should eat that banana bread. I'm going to go get some banana bread. So if I have chocolate chips in my teeth, don't talk to me. It smells like coffee in here. Let's just chill. Let's have a little break. Hoover's not going anywhere. Let's just talk. So did I say that I might be moving again, hopefully, if things go well? Which is good, because then the next place my little office, I'll actually be able to decorate it properly, because there's no point doing anything here because it's a rental. Like, why is there a chunk carved out the wall? Who fucking knows? Who cares? I'm fixing it. Why would I do that? So I'm thinking for the next place, like the office room, I don't want it to have white walls. I want it to have a pop of colour. I'm thinking like a light minty green or something like that. Something so it's just like, you know, and then having a proper little recording setup. I know what it looks like in my head, but I can't describe it. Like a microphone that's actually more like a podcast microphone, so I can move it around a little bit more, because this means I need a table. But if I had one that was on an arm, I wouldn't need a table. But then have a little like stand for my laptop so I can read off my scripts. Maybe a little bookcase, one of my bookcases behind. I don't know, something where it's just like more like visually appealing to look at. Because I know that this isn't an appealing set, but honestly, what's the point in changing it when it's a rental? Yes, I'd like the office to be a minty green. I just think the pop of colour would be quite nice. Easy to colour correct. And I won't look so washed out. Like, I have to add saturation to these videos. No one cares about this except for me, because I look so washed out because it's just a stark white background. This is very good banana bread. It needs to soak up like the gallon of coffee in my stomach, which I never drink that much coffee because it makes me feel funny. It gives me depersonalization and derealization if I have too much coffee, so that's fun. Let's get back on with it. He's wearing jeans and a white t-shirt. Nothing special. That's the Homer Simpson fit. Hair doesn't look like it's even been brushed today, and it could probably use a trim. Just like mine. Oh my god. He's so male commentary channel coded. It's just long enough in the front that he has to move it out of his eyes when he looks up and catches me full on staring. Like any common deer, what she's sensing from him is that he's a predator. He notices her staring and shakes his head in disbelief or disgust. So then Sky gets scared of him. He then tries to approach her, so she walks out quickly, but he follows her. I call this the Cullen rush. And we are then treated to this dramatic rubbish. He's holding 2 sacks down at his side with one hand while he rubs the back of his neck with the other hand. I'm really wishing the weather was still shitty and rainy so he wouldn't be standing here right now. He rests his eyes on mine, and the look of contempt from inside the store is now replaced with a crooked grin that seems a bit forced in our current predicament. Now that I have a closer look at him, it's apparent the stomach virus isn't the root of all the sudden stomach issues at all. It's simply him. Everything about him, from his tousled dark hair to his stark blue eyes to that dimple to his thick arms that I just want to reach out and touch. Touch? Really? Sky, get a hold of yourself. Everything about him causes my lungs to fail, my heart to go into overdrive. I have a feeling if he smiles at me like Grayson tried to smile at me, my panties will be on the ground in record time. I've read about the underwear of teenage girls far too many times in this career. And it's exclusively because of Coho and Penelope. He introduces himself, but she doesn't shake his hand because she's socially inept. His multitude of reactions confuses the hell out of me. He seems close to disgusted by my presence one minute to practically running me down the street next. And I'm usually pretty good at reading people, but if I had to make an assumption about Holder based on the last 2 minutes alone, I'd have to say he suffers from split personality disorder. He was probably aiming his disgust at Shayna, you idiot. Or, you know, he's Edward Cullen like most characters are these days. He then says she looks familiar, and she gets disappointed that he's one of those guys who uses pickup lines, so she lies about having a boyfriend. I'm highly disappointed. I roll my eyes and reach behind me, pulling on the door handle to my car. I've got a boyfriend, I lie. I spin round and open the door, then climb inside. When I reach to pull the door shut, I'm met with resistance when it refuses to budge. I look up to see his hand grasping at the top of the car door, holding it open. There's a hard desperation in his eyes that sends chills down my arms. Coho, this is not romantic. Yes, I am also chilled by this obvious predatory behavior. And why are all of her men desperate? I'm just thinking of Ryle pissing and shitting himself on the floor right now because Lily Blossom Bloom flower arrangement didn't shag him. She notices he has a tattoo on his arm that says hopeless. So I'm about to start throwing hands, I mean it. Remember everyone you meet is likely fighting an inner battle. Attack them. Now they're fighting 2 battles. God, he's so Jared. So Jared coded. She tries to pull the door, but he refuses to budge. So she gives in and gives him her name. She doesn't even give a fake one. She's not very smart, is she? She even shows him her ID to prove it's her name. Just drive off. He's weird. He remains motionless, staring at me the entire time I pull away. When I'm heading the opposite direction, I adjust the rearview mirror to get a glance at him before exiting the parking lot. I watch as he turns to walk away, smashing his fist into the hood of a car. Okay. Monday, August 27th, 2012, 4:47 p.m. She sneaks into Six's room and yells at her to wake up, so Six elbows her in the eye and it serves her right. Six's sense of humour and straightforward personality are huge factors in why we get along so well. Peppy, fake girls annoy the hell out of me. I don't even know that pep is even in Six's vocabulary. She's one black wardrobe away from being your typical broody teenager. And fake? She's as straight shooting as they come, whether you want her to be or not. There isn't a fake thing about Six other than her name. I don't care about any of this. When she was 14 and her parents told her they were moving to Texas from Maine, she rebelled by refusing to respond to her name. Her real name is Seven Marie. I forgot about that. Seven. So she would only answer to Six just to spite her parents making her move. They still call her Seven, but everyone else calls her Six. Just goes to show she's as stubborn as I am. I'm sorry. Her real name is Seven? Is this child abuse? Sky tells Six, about the handsome weirdo at the shops, and somehow Sky gets elbowed in the eye again. Good. She looks down at me and frowns. Sky, I've been worried about you for 4 years, thinking this would never happen. I'll be fine if you were gay. I'll be fine if you only liked skinny, short, geeky guys. I would even be fine if you were only attracted to really old, wrinkly men with even wrinklier penises. What I haven't been fine with is the thought of you never being able to experience lust. I guess asexuals can go fuck themselves then. Well, not really. Six knows who Holder is. His first name is Dean. Oh no, not a Dean. Apparently, Dean is a jerk. Who would have thought it? I'm referencing Dean from Gilmore Girls. She picks up a toothbrush and squeezes toothpaste onto it, then walks back into the bedroom, brushing her teeth. Non-stop action around here. Apparently, Dean went to juvie for a hate crime, beating up a gay guy at school. Sky's hormones sure know how to pick 'em. She waves her hand in the air. Horny, attracted, it's all the same, she says flippantly, walking back to the bed. She places an earring in her lap and brings the other one up to her ear. I guess we should be relieved to know that you aren't completely broken. Again, asexuals can go fuck themselves, according to Coho. Sky goes for a run. Monday, August 27th, 2012, 5:25 p.m. My lungs are aching. My body went numb way back in Aspen Road. My breath has moved from controlled inhaling and exhaling to uncontrolled gasps and spurts. This is the point which I usually love running the most, when every single ounce of my body is poured into propelling me forward, leaving me committedly focused onto my next step and nothing else. This doesn't sound great. Sit down and have a glass of water. I've never run this far before. I usually stop when I know I've hit my 1.5 mile mark a few blocks back. Is that it? 2.4 kilometers. This character is a runner, by the way. It's not something she's a runner. This is what she does. This is her hobby. She's 16. She should have boundless energy, pathetic and weak. So she says she stops at 1.5 miles and goes home, but that's only 3 miles or a 5k. For reference, the Couch to 5k program will go from having you sedentary, couch potato, to running a 5-kilometer run as a beginner runner. And this girl is struggling to go beyond that, despite, like, she was going to run for track or something, I don't know, but like, running is her thing. This is what she does. Guys, I can still do a 5k and I'm so unfit. Then this happens. I'm almost out of water. I stop at the edge of the driveway and lean against the mailbox, opening the lid to my water bottle. I wipe the sweat off my forehead with the back of my arm and bring the bottle to my lips, managing to get about 4 drops into my mouth before it runs dry. I've already downed an entire bottle of water in this Texas heat. I silently scold myself for deciding to skip my run this morning. I'm a wuss in the heat. Fearing for my hydration, I decide to walk the rest of the way back rather than run. She's doing all of this in like really bad heat in the afternoon. Is she dumb? Yes. I kind of hope she just passes out and the rest of the story is a hallucination from the heat exhaustion. It might explain then why it will be so banal and shit. Anyway, you know the old adage, write what you know. Colleen Hoover consistently does the opposite of that. Why doesn't she know anything about anything? Then Holder appears, because of course he does. I blinked twice, half believing this to be a mirage brought on by my exhaustion. My instinct is telling me to run and scream, but my body wants to wrap itself around his glistening, sweaty arms. All of this is very dramatic, especially exhaustion after... I need to check my notes. Running for 1.5 miles whilst being an established runner. So she swoons over him and shares his water, even though she... and he's just a stranger, and they share water. Okay. She thinks he's bad news, but still shares her water. His water. I'm thirsty. So damn thirsty. Thirsty for sex, right? Because there's no way you're thirsty from running 1.5 miles. I said it's more like 2.5. You live over on Conroe. That's over 2 miles away. That's an almost 5-mile round trip. He says it like he's impressed. Of course he sounds impressed. If the men in Coho stories weren't impressed by women doing absolutely nothing, she'd have no stories. Also, Colleen, you are hilarious. So in 2020, before COVID hit, I was running 5 miles nearly every day, like every 2 days, by accident, because I thought the machine that I was using at the gym was in kilometers. And I would despair that 5 kilometers took forever. Like, it was taking me 45 minutes to run. I was like, oh my God, I'm so unfit. I'm so unhealthy. Like, why is it taking so long? Like, this is tough. I'm running for like 45 minutes. Why is running so tough? How do people do this in like, 25 minutes or less? Not realizing I was actually running 5 miles. Like, I would leave the gym having already hit my 10K steps for the day, not realizing I was doing miles instead of kilometers. Also, I did look great too. I need to get back into doing that again. I need to trick myself because I'm an idiot and I do things accidentally all the time. My point is I was accidentally hitting 5-mile runs like almost daily as a novice. I am better than a Colleen Hoover character. He knows the street Sky lives on because he glanced at her ID earlier. So she's like, you're a stalker. And he's like, well, you're in front of my house right now. His house? What the hell are the chances? Yes, what indeed are the chances? She probably followed the scent of his sweaty arms, the creep. How have I not seen him before? How could I not know I lived less than 3 miles from the only boy in existence who can turn me into a ball of frustrated hot flashes? I don't know, have you tried going outside? He fills her water bottle and she doesn't know whether to stay for it or run away. The drama. Ugh, absolutely hate lust. Hate it. Every fibre of my being knows he's not a good person, yet my body doesn't seem to give a shit at all. What, because you got told one thing by one person? Do you know what? I hope he is a massive homophobe. I hope he commits hate crimes all of the time and she still falls for him and his arms and excuses it because he makes her feel a certain way. That would at least have some balls to it. My parody Coho novel is going to be like that. Just one of the worst people and it's still whatever. Then for some reason, I don't know why, I put the Narc's prayer in here saying he's a Coho lead, so this is what he probably thinks. I don't really know why I did. I was just being random, I suppose. The narcissist prayer is that didn't happen. And if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, that's not a big deal. And if it is, that's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it. He says sorry if he made her uneasy at the store, and he really did think she was someone else. It's fine, I force a smile, but it's not fine. Why am I suddenly consumed with disappointment that he wasn't trying to hit on me? I should be happy. Don't be dense, not false drama in a Coho book. You'll never prove it in court. He stops speaking mid-sentence and takes a quick step towards me. He grabs my chin and tilts my head back. Who did this to you? The same hardness I saw in his eyes at the grocery store returns behind his scowl. Your eye wasn't like this earlier. Stop touching her, you weirdo. He doesn't smile. Instead, he takes a step closer and gives me a hard look, then brushes his thumb underneath my eye. You would tell someone, right, if someone did this to you? I want to respond. Really, I do. I just can't. He's touching my face. His hand is on my cheek. I can't think. I can't speak. I can't breathe. So he goes from 0 to 100 and then runs with her home, consent not necessary, I guess to protect her from all the flailing elbows to the face. She fills his water bottle. Because they shared it earlier, she keeps thinking we're practically kissing. I can't distinguish between the effect of my near 5-mile run has had on me and the effect Holder is having on me. Both of them make me feel like I'm about to pass out from lack of oxygen. You are so cute, Coho. Do you run track? I cover my stomach with my left arm and clasp my hands at my waist. No, I'm thinking about trying out though. You should. You're barely out of breath and you just ran close to 5 miles, he says. Are you a senior? She is actually exhausted, but it's the way Coho has mentioned this 100 times in one chapter, and I cut out some of them because she thinks this is impressive for someone who is a runner. Also, if she was anywhere close to as tired as she's like making out to us to be, she would be frothing at the mouth and smelling awful, but she can't. She can only look quirkily disheveled. Well, you make it sort of difficult to stalk you, he says. I couldn't even find you on Facebook. He just admitted to looking me up on Facebook. I met him less than 2 hours ago, so the fact that he went straight home and looked me up on Facebook is a little bit flattering. She explains that she isn't allowed technology and he's all, wow, what do you do for fun? And she says, I run, except she obviously doesn't. He wants to meet up with her for morning runs and she faints. She comes to at home with Karen and Holder. Karen gives her a homemade tincture instead of a paracetamol or something. Why is she so stereotypical? Coho, do you fear vegans? How do you feel knowing that I, your biggest #1 hater, is a vegan? I eat paracetamol by the handful and I could run further and faster than you. And I'm a better writer. I'm sorry, she says, extending her hand to Holder. I'm Karen Davies. Holder stands up and shakes her hand in return. Dean Holder. My friends call me Holder. I'm jealous she's getting to touch his hand. Don't be weird, that's your mum. Sky admits she didn't eat much before her run. She had a Snickers bar and half a chicken breast at lunch. And Karen doesn't want her running anymore. What a helicopter parent. Holder offers to run with Sky so he can keep an eye on her, and Karen is fine with that. This, strange boy out of nowhere doesn't want her running anymore. Won't let her eat sugar. Won't let her have technology and the internet. Random boy wants to run. That's fine. Easy, he says. He looks up at Karen. Do you have any crackers she can eat? That might help. Defeated by 5 miles. Hilarious. He and Sky plan to meet in the morning, and Sky bemoans hating lust again because she's just different like that. Monday, August 27th, 2012, 7:10 p.m. How are we still on Monday? Karen has a boyfriend called Jack, like I'm meant to care. They give Six a going away dinner. Six grabs a slice of bread and opens a jar of Nutella. I grab my plate and fill it with Karen's latest vegan concoction. Karen's cooking is an acquired taste, one that Six still hasn't acquired after 4 years. Her cooking sucks because she doesn't believe in fat, sugar or oil. Vegans have nothing to do with that, Colleen. You are ignorant. Coho clearly thinks veganism is synonymous with orthorexia. Did I not just eat a delicious, sugary, delicious banana bread? Shut up, Colleen. Sky is worried about having no one to talk to once Six is gone. I hope Brecken can fill her shoes. Well, he would probably love to fill her shoes, literally, but I'm hoping he does so in the figurative sense. Haha, get it? Haha, he wants to wear girl shoes. Haha, because he's gay. Ha 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 ha. You okay? Jack asks. It must have been a pretty good fall to get that shiner. I reach up to my eye and grimace. I'd completely forgotten about the black eye. That's not from fainting. Six elbowed me. Twice. I expect one of them to at least ask why Six elbowed me, but they don't. This just goes to show how much they love her. They probably wouldn't even care if she did beat me up. They'd probably tell me I deserved it. You gonna show us what's so lovable about Six anytime soon, or do I have to just fill in the blanks myself, Colleen? Jack mentions something about having a baby, and Karen is not happy. They've been together a year and a half, but they've never discussed whether to have kids or not. Sure, okay, whatever. I guess either she will get pregnant and Coho will force her to love it, or she won't and it'll be because she's a miserable, mean vegan or something, and then Jack will leave her. Neither happened, actually. I was wrong. Why did that freak you out so bad? I ask her, handing her the plate to rinse. What? His comment about having a baby of you. You're in your 30s. People have babies your age all the time. What a great idea, Coho. Have a baby because every other moron is doing it. Afterwards, Six and Sky hang out. Six pouts. I'm not even out the door yet and you've already replaced me? Vicious. And for the record, I don't have an inability to say no to guys. I have an inability to grasp the moral ramifications of premarital sex. Lots and lots of premarital sex. What 17-year-old talks like this? Six gifts Sky a cell phone so they can stay in touch, and Sky gives her the money the bullies gave her. Tuesday, August 28th, 2012, 6:15 a.m. Sky meets Dean for their morning run. Hey you, he smiles and stands up. I notice when he does that, his shirt is already soaked. He ran here. He ran over 2 miles here, and he's about to run 3 more miles with me, and then he'll be running over 2 miles home. I seriously don't understand why he's going to all this trouble, or why I'm allowing it. He'll be fine. So let me get it straight. 5 miles, according to Dean, is seriously impressive, but 7 miles, a casual 7 miles is whatever. He is so patronising. Like, why don't you just pet her next time for her good run? Also, you know why he's going to all of the trouble. Behave. You better try out for track. His voice is steady and it doesn't sound anything like he's already run 4 miles this morning. You've got more stamina than most of the guys from the team last year. Didn't she faint yesterday? Also, how shit is their team that a group of trained male teenagers can't run for a few miles? Anyway, he knows she's been homeschooled and only at public school for 1 day, and she gets weirded out by his knowledge of her. He can tell I'm uncomfortable, so he grabs my elbow and stops me. Yeah, that'll help. Then he slaps my face to stop my womanly hysteria. I'm so grateful and ever so silly. I'm really hoping he's being genuine because I can already tell he isn't the kind of guy a girl gets a simple crush on. He's the kind of guy you fall hard for, and the thought of that terrifies me. I don't really want to fall hard for anyone at all, especially someone who's only making an effort because he thinks I'm easy. I also don't want to fall for someone who has already branded himself hopeless, but I'm curious. So curious. Self-inflicted problems are not compelling. Also, I thought she didn't know why he was going to all of the trouble. Hey, Coho, can I speak to your editor? Oh, you don't have one? I don't believe you. She asks why he's dropped out of school. He turns back to me and looks torn, like he wants to tell me something. He opens his mouth, then shuts it again after hesitating. I hate that I can't read him. Most people are easy to read. They're simple. Holder is all kinds of confusing and complicated. No, he isn't. He's 17. He's like the boring wank child of Atlas and Jared, tattooed, self-pitying, and entirely uninteresting. He shrugs his shoulders. I don't know. To be honest, I'm still trying to decide what I want to do. It's been a pretty fucked up year. Not to mention I hate this school. I'm tired of the bull crap. And sometimes I think, I don't censor the F word, but shit is too much. Sometimes I think it'll be easier just to test out. I stop walking and turn to face him. That's a bad excuse. He cocks an eyebrow at me. It's crap that I hate high school? No, it's crap that you're letting one bad year determine your fate for the rest of your life. You're 9 months away from graduation, so you drop out. It's stupid. He laughs. Well, when you put it so eloquently, laugh all you want. You quitting school is just giving in. You're proving to everyone that's ever doubted you right. I look down, eye the tattoo on his arm. You're going to drop out and show the world just how hopeless you really are? Way to stick it to them. Okay, little Miss Life Coach. Everyone knows the only way to get someone to do something is to neg them into it. Though I am kind of grateful also that the sad sack brooding little dweeb didn't get away with his angsty sob story. He walks off after this, and here I was thinking I would actually have a conversation with just one of his personalities today. So much for that. You were the one being rude. Tuesday, August 28, 2012, 7:55 a.m. I walk into first period and Brecken is seated in the back of the room in all of his hot pink glory. How I didn't notice those hot pink shoes and the boy they're attached to before lunch yesterday boggles my mind. Hey gorgeous, I say as I slide into an empty seat next to him. I take the cup of coffee out of his hands and take a sip. He lets me because he doesn't know me well enough yet to halfway around, surely. Or maybe he lets me because he knows the ramifications of intercepting a self-proclaimed caffeine addict. Like, who does that? Brecken has been looking up Sky online and sees all the mean gossip about her, like how she sleeps around, she had a pregnancy scare, and was seen running with Dean, who doesn't like Mormons. Who saw her and is reporting on her like this? Is this Gossip Girl? Gossip Girl, but make it Texas. She downplays the Dean stuff because, Dean's allegedly a homophobe. We all know he won't be though because he is the lead love interest. And she'd rather figure him out than be honest with her new best friend. Then Dean shows up in class and Sky is like, OMG, is it because of me? Dean, he says, still facing the blackboard. He spins around and eyes Holder. Welcome back, albeit a day late. I take it you won't be giving us any trouble this semester? My mouth drops open at the condescending remark right off the bat. If this is the kind of shit Holder has had to put up with when he's here, no wonder he didn't want to come back. At least I just get shit from other students. I don't care who the student is. Teachers should never be condescending. That should be the first rule in the teacher handbook. This is a random thing for you to say, Colleen, so the only thing I think makes sense is maybe one of her precious darling angels got in trouble at school that day, so she was taken out via her book. Also, it's literally not even a big deal what the school teacher said. One time, my history teacher threw water on me because I fell asleep in class and I respected him for it. I loved him for it. I still remember him. I only have positive things to say about him. So don't be such a big baby, Colleen Hoover. Also, you try dealing with rude teenagers day in, day out. Rob told me that his art teacher once yelled at his friend to get out of his class that he wasn't supposed to be in and go do some fucking work. And they loved her for it. Colleen, stop being so sensitive. Then Sky immediately flip-flops anyway. Holder shifts in his seat and replies to Mr. Mulligan's comment with just as much bite. I take it you won't be saying anything that will incite me to give you trouble this semester, Mr. Mulligan. Okay, the shit giving is obviously a two-way street. Maybe my next lesson, beyond talking to him into coming back to school, should be teaching him the meaning of respecting authority. Respect is earned, not assumed. See my previous water throwing story for details. But seriously, what is the point in having a character so opinionated but so flip-floppy with said opinions? You know, shutting up is also an option, yeah? Gladly, Holder says, cutting his eyes towards Mr. Mulligan. I'm Dean Holder. People call me Holder. He looks away from Mr. Mulligan and turns back towards the class. I've been a student here since freshman year with the exception of a 1.5 semester sabbatical. And according to Mr. Mulligan, I like to incite trouble, so this class should be fun. Several of the students laugh at this comment, but I fail to see the humour in it. I've already been doubting him based on everything I've heard. Now he's showing his true colours by the way he's acting. Shut up, you're so annoying. Dean spots Sky. An hour and a half ago, he walked away from me in a pissy mood. Now he's smiling at me like he's just seen his best friend for the first time in years. Yep, he's got issues. You've flip-flopped more in 2 pages than he has in several hours. Does Coho even hear herself when she writes? Holder nods, then walks back to his seat, never pulling his gaze from mine. And this tone of this silly little teenage drama, like, trust me, you'll know when we get to it, but it changes so dramatically. He never pulls his gaze away from mine. He sits and cranes his neck, facing me. Mr. Mulligan begins his lecture and everyone's focus returns to the front of the room. Everyone's but Holders. I glance down to my book and flip it back to the open current chapter, hoping he'll do the same. When I glance back up, he's still staring at me. What a weirdo. The pair of them are kind of perfect for each other. He's just Edward Cullen, except his only ability is to run kind of far. I grab my things and head out for the door before Holder has a chance to strike up a conversation. I really am glad he decided to re-enroll, but I'm disturbed at the way he looks at me as though we were best friends. At this point, I was like, if the twist in this is that he's actually mentally ill or something, I'm going to be so pissed. I go to my locker and switch books, grabbing my English text. I wonder if Shayna/Shayla will actually acknowledge me in class today. Probably not. That was 24 hours ago. I doubt she has enough brain cells to recall information from that long ago. Well, aren't you a peach? Holder appears to flirt with Sky, so she tells him he's intense and moody and scary, so he does this. Holder steps in front of me and places his hand on the locker beside my head, then leans in towards me. I look up at him and he's staring down at me less than 6 inches from my face. Okay, not really beating those creepy allegations, are you? She says she knows he beat someone up and he went to juvie and he scared the shit out of her at least 3 times. And he's only making an effort because she has a bad reputation with boys. Then Grayson appears, just a dick swing. What the hell is this? Where did Grayson come from? And why does he have his arm around me like he's staking claim? Because you're in a Coho novel and men must act like they are cavemen swinging clubs and bonking women over the head. She escapes them both. Later, she meets with Brecken so they can discuss her dumb love life whilst Holder stares at her from across the room. He signals for them to talk privately, so she ditches Brecken immediately. Holder is mad because he thinks she's dating Grayson and Grayson is an asshole. He drops his arms and turns around to face the lockers, hitting one of them with a flat palm. The sound of skin against metal reverberates in the hallway and straight into my stomach. Holder says, "You've no idea the type of person Grayson is. He's either going to be a big nothing burger or he's going to be a rapist, isn't he?" Grayson, that is, not Holder. Well, she reminds him that she's known him for all of 2 days and he should calm down. Holder works his jaw back and forth and stares down at me, arms tightly folded against his chest. He takes a challenging step towards me. His eyes are so cold and hard, and I begin to think this is a sixth side to him that I'm seeing, an angrier, even more possessive side. Then he strokes her face, says when he sees her black eye and sees Grayson being possessive, it makes him mad. She steps away from him and calls him a hypocrite, so he asks if Grayson has ever hit her. She's like, no, and then goes back. Wednesday, August 29, 2012, 6:15 a.m. is the way that Grayson just doesn't appear after like these initial silliness bits ever again. I've been running for almost 3 years. I am actually going to weep, Coho. Why don't you know anything? Like the thing is like you don't have to be a runner to write about running, right? You don't have to like be certain things to write about it, but you do have to do a little thing called research. And she just... God. I think a lot of it has to do with how frustratingly sheltered I am. I tried to stay positive about it, but it's hard seeing the interactions and relationships the other students have at school that I'm not part of. Not having internet access wouldn't have been a big deal in high school a few years ago, but now it's pretty much social suicide. Not that I care what anyone thinks. I think you do actually care. Instead, I just sit on my bed and wonder, oh no, I just saw them, no. I wonder if he's really as bad as his reputation makes him out to be. I wonder if he has the same effect on other girls that he has on me. I wonder who his parents are, if he has siblings or if he's dating anyone. I wonder why he seems so intent on being angry with me all the time when we just met. Is he always this angry? Is he always so charming when he isn't busy being angry? I hate that he's either one way or the other and never in between. It would be nice to see a laid-back, calm side to him. I wonder if he even has an in-between. I wonder, because that's all I can do. Silently wonder about the hopeless boy who somehow burrowed himself into the forefront of my thoughts and won't go the hell away. I despise it when Coho uses repetition. I just know she thinks she's so slick and not a hack. And there's a lot more repetition where that came from. She goes running, thinking he won't show up, but he does. I've never met anyone who puts so much thought into his own responses. The way he lets things soak in whilst he prepares his own responses. It's like his words are limited. Why is own response repeated twice? For the record, he says, I wasn't the one with the issue yesterday. I pull him harder, more out of malice than a desire to help him stretch. Are you insinuating I'm the one with the issue? Aren't you? Clarify, I say. I don't like vague. He laughs, but it's an irritable laugh. Sky, if there's one thing you should know about me, it's that I don't do vague. I told you I'll only ever be honest with you. And to me, vague is the same thing as dishonesty. He pulls my hand forward and leans back. What teenagers talk like this? They bicker over not knowing each other. And coming from someone with her own share of rumours, I figured you'd be a little less judgmental. My own share of rumours? If he thinks he's going to win points by having something in common with me, he's dead wrong. So that's what this is about? You thought the slutty new girl would be sympathetic to the gay-bashing asshole? You know that you two don't have to hang out with each other, yeah? He's like, don't insult yourself, heart eyes, and confirms, yes, he did beat someone up, but he doesn't mention anything about the dude being gay. It's going to be so obvious the dude isn't a hate-criming homophobe. Make him a homophobe, Coho, you coward. They end up not running together, thank God. My heart is racing as fast as if I had just run the 3 miles, except right now it's racing because I'm so incredibly pissed. Thanks for spelling that out to me, Coho. Would never have been able to put 2 and 2 together myself. She busies herself with reading her letter from 6. Hopefully by the time you're reading this, because I know you won't read it right away, I'll be madly in love with a hot Italian boyfriend and not thinking about you at all. But I know that isn't the case, because I'll be thinking about you all the time. I'll be thinking about all the nights we stayed up with our ice cream and our movies and our boys, but mostly I'll be thinking about you and all the reasons why I love you, just to name a few. I love how you suck at goodbyes and feelings and emotions because I do too. I love how you always scoop from the strawberry and vanilla side of the ice cream because you know how much I love the chocolate, even though you love it too. I love how you aren't weird and awkward despite the fact you've been severely cut off from socialization to the point where you make the Amish look trendy. Oh my God. Oh, fuck off. But most of all, I love that you don't judge me. I love that in the past 4 years, you've never once questioned me about my choices, as poor as they may be, or the guys I've been with, or the fact that I don't believe in commitment. I would say that it's simple for you not to judge me, because you're a dirty slut too, but we both know you're not. So thank you for being a non-judgmental friend. Thank you for never being condescending or treating me like you're better than me, even though we both know you are. As much as I can laugh at the things people say about us behind our backs, it kills me that they say these things about you too. For that, I'm sorry, but not too sorry, because I know that if you were given the choice to either be my slutty best friend or be the girl with the good reputation, you'd screw every guy in the school because you love me that much, and I'd let you because I love you that much. And one more thing I love about you, then I'll shut up because I'm only 6 feet away writing this letter right now and it's really hard not to climb out my window and come squeeze you. I love your indifference. I love how you really just don't give a shit what people think. I love how you are focused on your future and everyone else can kiss your ass. I love how, when I told you I was leaving for Italy after talking to you into rolling up my school, you just smiled and shrugged your shoulders even though I know it would have torn most best friends apart. I left you hanging to follow my dream and you didn't let it eat you up. You didn't even give me crap about it. I love how, last one I swear, when we watched The Forces of Nature and Sandra Bullock walked away in the end, I was screaming at the TV for such an ugly ending. You just shrugged your shoulders and said, "It's real, Six. You can't get mad at a real ending. Some of them are ugly. It's the fake happily ever afters that should piss you off." I'll never forget that because you were right. And I know you weren't trying to teach me a lesson, but you did. Not everything is going to go my way and not everyone gets a happily ever after. Life is real and sometimes it's ugly and you just have to learn how to cope. I'm going to accept it with a dose of your indifference and move on. So anyway, enough about that. I just want you to know that I'll miss you and that this new very best friend in the whole wide world at school better back off when I get home in 6 months. I hope you realise how amazing you are. But in case you don't, I'm going to text you every single day to remind you. Prepare to be bombarded for the next 6 months with endless annoying texts of nothing but positive affirmation about Sky. Holy shit, get a room! All these world-weary teens are doling out the aphorisms and life advice. You can't get mad at a real ending. Good God, Coho. No, stop. Then 6 starts texting. Have I told you lately how awesome you are? Missing you. It's day 2. You better text me back. I need to tell you about Lorenzo. Also, you're sickeningly smart. Is the sickeningly smart in the room with us? Characters can only be as smart as their creators. Friday, August 31st, 2012, 11:20 a.m. Sky is still getting bullied at school and didn't try out for track. Don't care. She keeps getting mean messages on her locker, but Brecken saw Holder tearing them off. OMG. Apparently there are rumours about Holder's sister, but Sky doesn't want to pry, so thanks for literally nothing, you useless protagonist. Hey, a voice from behind me says. I immediately know it isn't Holder, because I'm indifferent to the voice. About the time I turn around, Grayson swings his leg over the seat bench next to me and sits. You busy after school? I dip my celery stick into a blob of ranch dressing and take a bite. Probably. Grayson shakes his head. That's not a good enough answer. I'll meet you at your car after last period. Ugh. She meets Grayson. Don't call me princess, ever again. He laughs and slides in front of me, gripping my waist in both hands. Fine, how about beautiful? How about you just call me Sky? Why do you have to be so angry all the time? He reaches up to my face and holds my cheeks in his hands, then kisses me. Sadly, I let him, mostly because I feel like he's earned it for putting up with me for an entire month. He doesn't deserve a whole lot of return favours though, so I pull my face away after just a few seconds. I frowned so much reading that I'm going to need Botox again. Can you not take a hint? I told you I'm not sleeping with you, Grayson. I'm not trying to play games or get you to chase me like other sick, twisted girls do. Oh yeah, other girls are the issue. You want more and I don't. So I think we just need to accept that we're in an impasse and move on. He stares at me, then sighs and pulls me against him, hugging me. I don't need more, Sky. It's fine the way it is. I won't push it again. I just like coming to your house and I want to come over tomorrow night. He tries to flash me that panty-dropping grin. Now stop being mad at me and come here. He pulls my face to his and kisses me again. As irritated and angry as I am, I can't help but be relieved that as soon as his lips meet mine, my irritation subsides, thanks to the numbness that takes over. For that reason alone, I continue to let him kiss me. Doesn't want a guy, starts kissing him. And I know the numbness is due to some kind of sexual trauma Coho's going to shoehorn in later. I just know it. Oh look, I was right. Anyway, she actually starts getting horny, but only because she notices Holder glaring at them. Holder can sit in the cuck chair when they all go to a hotel later. So we're on for tomorrow night, he asks. I climb into the car and crank it, then look at him. No, we're done. Is this Coho's idea of girl boss behaviour? Friday, August 31st, 2012. 4:50 p.m. Is Jack going with you? I open the car door for Karen so she can throw the last of her luggage in the back seat. Yeah, he's coming. We'll be home. I'll be home on Sunday, she says, correcting herself. It pains her to count Jack as a we. I hate that she feels that way because I really like Jack and I know he loves Karen, so I don't understand what her hang-up is at all. She's had a couple of boyfriends in the past 12 years, but as soon as it starts getting serious for the guy, she runs. Of course you'd be on some random bloke's side over your own mother's. Karen is leaving for a weekend event. She laughs and hugs me. Good girl. I'm wasted. Don't forget to get really wasted. I won't forget, I promise. And I'm renting a TV for the weekend so I can sit around and eat ice cream and watch trash on cable. She pulls back and glares at me. Now that's not funny. I laugh at her and hug her again. Have fun. I hope you sell lots of herbal thingies and soaps and tinctures and whatever else it is that you do at these things. Love you. If you need me, you know you can use Six's house phone. Yeah, that'll help in an emergency. A phone in a completely separate house. Holder comes over randomly when Sky is baking and she can't breathe at the sight of him. Please. He is no Edward Cullen. Hi. He's smiling awkwardly and looks nervous and it's terribly attractive. He's in a good mood. For now, anyway. Who knows when he'll get pissed off again and feel like arguing. Well, stop hanging out with him then. Instead, she invites him in to hang out. I turn the mixer on, creating an excuse not to have to talk to him for 3 minutes on medium to high speed. I try to remember what it looked like without noticeably searching for a reflective surface. I'm pretty sure I've got flour everywhere. I know my hair is being held up with a pencil, and my sweatpants are being worn for the 4th evening in a row, unwashed. I try to nonchalantly wipe away any visible trace of flour, but I'm aware it's a lost cause. Oh well, there's no way I could look any worse right now than when I was laid out on the couch with gravel embedded in my cheek. But she's still completely beautiful. I just know she doesn't wear makeup or have a good skincare routine either. She didn't know how to text. There's no way she knows about double cleansing. Holder was drinking vegan milk. Do you want some water or do you want to continue pretending you can stomach that vegan shit? He laughs and crinkles up his nose, then pushes his cup across the bar towards me. I was trying to be nice, but I can't take another sip of whatever the hell this is. Yes, water, please. What century are you living in, Coho? There are 20 plus types of vegan milk now, and most of them are better than pus and blood-filled cow's milk, you anti-science, anti-progress weirdo freak. He's never in much of a hurry and seems so assured in every movement he makes. It's like all of his thoughts and actions are meticulously planned out days in advance. I can just picture him in his bedroom, writing down the words he plans to use the following day because he's so selective with them. He's 17. Her phone goes off. He's scrolling through the text on my phone without a shred of respect for privacy. I don't really care though, so I just let him. Pardon? Can't wait for the explanation as to why this is fine. We don't even get one, actually. He turns the screen around to face me. What the hell kind of texts are these? He turns the phone around and reads one. Sky, you are beautiful. You are possibly the most exquisite creature in the universe, and if anyone tells you otherwise, I'll cut the bitch. He arches an eyebrow and looks up at me, then back down to the phone. Oh God, they're all like this. Please tell me you don't text these to yourself for daily motivation. A, would be a lot funnier if she did. B, get a room, 6. No, I say defensively. They're from 6. She's my best friend and she's halfway around the world and she misses me. She wants me to not be sad, so she sends me nice texts every day. I think it's sweet. Oh, you do not. You think it's annoying, you probably don't even read them. How does he know that? I set the phone down and cross my arms over my chest. She means well, I say, not admitting that the texts are annoying the living hell out of me. She doesn't even like her only friend. He takes her number and texts her to deflate her ego. His words, not mine. Your cookies suck ass and you're really not that pretty. Yeah, this is just called negging, but of course Skye finds this hilarious because she's suffering from pick-me-itis. She gives him a tour of the house. He stands up and follows me while I point out boring facts and knickknacks and rooms and pictures, but of course he's slowly soaking it all in, never in a rush. He has to stop and inspect every tiny thing, never speaking a single word the whole time. My god, this is boring! Turns out Holder is 18, not 17, my mistake. This makes him a lot wiser than his years and me a massive idiot, clearly. He spins around, then walks slowly to the open window. He bends down and sticks his head out of it, then pulls back inside. So this is the infamous window, huh? He doesn't look at me, which is probably a good thing, because if looks could kill, he'd be dead. Why the hell did he have to go and say something like that? I was actually enjoying his company for a change. He turns back to me and his playful expression is gone, replaced by a challenging one that I've seen too many times before. Now who's mood swinging? She gets mad and tries to kick him out, but he doesn't go, so she asks him again and he lies on her bed. And then I roll my eyes and walk over to where he is, then reach down and pull his legs off my bed. If I have to physically remove him from the house, I'll do it. When I grab his wrists and lift upwards, he pulls me to him in a move that happens faster than my mind can even comprehend. He flips me over until I'm on my back and he's holding my arms to the mattress. It happens so unexpectedly. I don't even have time to fight him. And looking up at him right now, half of me doesn't even want to fight him. I don't know if I should scream for help or rip off his clothes. My clothes. For God's sake, Colleen, you and your wet dreams are giving me a headache. He clarifies that he didn't know the dude he beat up last year was gay and his sexuality had nothing to do with it. Told you, so transparent, coho. And by the way, he's saying all of this whilst holding her wrists to the bed. This is his foreplay. It wasn't a hate crime, you know. Take me now. No one clipped that. But it's the way she attempted to have her audience going, oh, he's hot, but he might be a homophobe, but he is hot, so maybe it's okay, for the first quarter of the book. This revelation makes Skye think about herself for a change. Unless, of course, he likes me. The thought literally makes me smile and feel dirty. I'm wrong for hoping a lunatic likes me. I had it coming though. I should never have let him into my house knowing I'm alone. And now he knows I'll be home all weekend alone. If I had to wait to say tonight's decision, this would probably be so heavy it would break the dumb side of the scale. I foresee this ending in one or two ways. We'll either come to a mutual understanding of each other, or he's going to kill me and chop me up into tiny pieces and bake me into cookies. Either way, makes me sad for all the dessert that isn't being eaten right now. Did she just victim blame herself? I guess the gay-bashing asshole remark was really judgmental on my part then, huh? You aren't really an ignorant homophobe who spent the last year in juvenile detention? I mean, it clearly wouldn't matter even if he was. He says he was with his dad last year and the juvie story isn't true. This is literally the same plot point from 10 Things I Hate About You. It is the exact same. They then lie down together whilst eating cookies, which is a choking hazard, but who gives a damn? He then asks why she lets Grayson kiss her when she's obviously repulsed by him. My lack of interest, was that obvious? I ask. Yep. And from 50 yards away, I'm just surprised he didn't take the hint. This time, I turned to face him without thinking and tucked my elbow under my head. I know, right? I can't tell you how many times I've turned him down, but he just doesn't stop. It's really pathetic and unattractive. I don't know how I'm meant to respond to any of this. Penholder doesn't have to take a hint. Even when he's being physically moved off a bed, he can risk sexual assault because he knows deep down it's all fine. Grayson doesn't have the same update installed in his nevers, so everything he does is over the line and pathetic. She explains she enjoys the numb feeling kissing loser boys gives her and lets it slip that she's never been attracted to anyone but him before. I feel like this is Coho's way of keeping her character pure for the one, despite her not being a virgin due to sexual trauma that will be included in the big twist later on. Like, yeah, she's technically not a virgin, but she's never fancied anyone before, so Holder is still her one and only, if you know what I mean. Then again, at least she doesn't lust after one of her own abusers. Is this progress? I don't know. You probably faked passing out the other day just so you could be carried in my hot, sweaty, manly arms. Shut up. I'll bet you fantasize about me at night right here in this bed. Shut up, Holder. You probably even... I reach over and clamp my hand over his mouth. You're way hotter when you aren't speaking. Good dialogue, mate. I don't want to. What do you do when you're bored? You don't have internet or TV. Do you just sit around all day and think about how hot I am? That is exactly what she does. Then he gets her to read to him out loud a romance novel. I hope it's better than this one. Ryle was crying on the floor, holding my knees and begging me to bang him. Oh wow, that's so romantic. Coho is like the shittest version of Garth Marenghi. She falls asleep and Holder has left but tidied the kitchen for her, so he's not just a pretty face. He texts her. By the way, you have really bad breath and you snore too loud. They're doing the whole Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively relationship thing. No wonder Coho and Blake get on so well. And yes, I have seen all the Justin Baldoni v Blake Lively stuff. Every day something new comes out about it. I don't know what to think about any of it. Actually, the one thing that I will say right now about it publicly is the text and like the voice. I just listened to the Justin Baldoni voice memo earlier, and then like the text between them, like her and her Game of Thrones dragons and him and blah blah blah, and then being like, we're so important, you're so important for doing this, I'm so important for doing this. Like, are all actors like this? Do they literally think they're changing the fucking world? Goes without saying that if he did sexually harass her, then he's the worst one, right? However, not to be like both of them are bad, but like, why are these types of actors so insufferable? We're so important and we're doing this and we're doing that. Like, you're not Nobel Peace Prize candidates. You're not. I just got a flashback to my dream. I was doing something with like genomes and DNA. I think I'd successfully made clones of humans, but I couldn't transfer consciousness over, so I was still sad. Regardless, yeah, that's all I'm saying about that for now. Because, you know, new things come out every day, so there's literally no point like forming solid opinions about it because the new things just come out every single day about it. Other than both of them seem a bit insufferable. Actors do be believing their own hype. Saturday, September 1st, 2012, 5:05 p.m. I've learned an invaluable lesson about lust today. It causes double the work. I took 2 showers today instead of just 1. I changed clothes 4 times today instead of the usual 2. I cleaned the house once. That's 1 more than I usually clean it. And I've checked the time on the clocks no less than 1,000 times. I may have checked my phone for incoming texts just as many. Unfortunately, he didn't state in his text from last night what time he'd be here today, so by 5 o'clock I'm pretty much sitting and waiting. There isn't much else to do, since I've already baked enough sweets for an entire year, and I've run no less than 4 miles today. Well, the immediate fawning over literally some bloke escalated quickly. What time can I come over? Not that I'm looking forward to it or anything. You're really, really boring. So they philosophize like people in their 40s, but flirt like teens. What a ride we're in for. She doesn't even know what LOL means. Holder comes around and cooks dinner. Do you always answer questions with questions? That's just from maybe someday, isn't it? Maybe someday? Do you? I pick up a hand towel off the bar and throw it at him. He dodges it, then walks to the refrigerator. You want something to drink? He asks. Do you know what? Maybe I should stop dogging on Hoover for like repeating things from like her other books, because I mean, she's written like what, 20 to 30? I'm sure my sex scenes are going to get repetitive at some point. It's not like we should, you know, be creative and do our jobs, is it, Hoover? You want something to drink? He asks. I put my elbows on the bar and rest my chin in my hands, watching him. You're offering to make me... None of you heard that sound come out of my mouth. Now I'm embarrassed in front of my friends. You're offering to make me something to drink in my own house? He searches through the refrigerator shelves. Do you want milk that tastes like ass, or do you want soda? Do we even have soda? I'm almost positive I drank up the stash I bought yesterday. He leans back out the refrigerator and arches an eyebrow. Can either of us say anything that isn't a question? I laugh. I don't know. Can we? How long do you think we can keep this up? He finds a soda and grabs 2 glasses. You want ice? Are you having ice? I'm not stopping with the questions until he does. I'm highly competitive. Should I bang my head against the wall? Anyway, his face makes her horny. I nod and hope he backs the hell away from me because I'm about to have an asthma attack and I don't even have asthma. I'm frowning again. They keep flirting, either shit or get off the pot. He admits he fancies her too. Well, duh. He picks up a knife and begins chopping a tomato. Even his tomato chopping skills are effortless. Is there anything this boy is bad at? Colleen Hoover, doing everything to prop up the male ego since 2012. Okay, fine. I sit up straight in my chair and take a deep breath, then let all my thoughts out at once. I'm really not any good at this whole dating thing, and I don't even know if this is a date, but I know that whatever it is, it's a little more than just 2 friends hanging out, and knowing that makes me think about later tonight when it's time for you to leave, and whether or not you plan to kiss me, and I'm the type of person who hates surprises, so I can't stop feeling awkward about it because I do want you to kiss me, and this may be presumptuous of me, but I sort of think you want to kiss me too, and so I was thinking about how much easier it would be if we just went ahead and kissed already so you can go back to cooking dinner and I can stop trying to mentally map out how our night's going to play out. My goodness, Colleen. I don't care. Someone's been absorbing a lot of early 2000s indie romances, haven't they? He pulls her into the kitchen and acts like he's going to kiss her, but doesn't, and then he says he won't tonight. He slowly drops one of his hands and brings it to my face, then traces down my cheek with his fingers. I try not to shudder under his touch, but it's taking every ounce of my willpower not to appear completely flustered right now. His eyes follow his hand as it slowly moves down my jaw and then my neck, stopping at my shoulder. He brings his eyes back to mine and there's an undeniable amount of lust in them. Coho, how is your love life at home going? There has got to be a reason you constantly write men like this. Tell me. Talk to me. Look, my email's right there. I'm always here for you. He doesn't want to kiss her in case she goes numb and doesn't feel it, so they hug instead. I'm numb. Not that anyone cares. Sky, I'm not kissing you tonight, but believe me when I tell you, I've never wanted to kiss a girl more. So stop thinking I'm not attracted to you because you have no idea how much I am. You can hold my hand. You can run your fingers through my hair. You can straddle me while I feed you spaghetti. But you are not getting kissed tonight. And probably not tomorrow night either. I need this. I need to know for sure that you're feeling every single thing I'm feeling the moment my lips touch yours, because I want your first kiss to be the best first kiss in the history of first kisses. So what's his backstory, huh? What's making him such a dweeb? She goes, you know it wouldn't be my first kiss, right? And he goes, let me inform you of something. He says in a low voice, the moment my lips touch yours, it will be your first kiss. Because if you've never felt anything when someone's kissed you, then no one's ever really kissed you. Not the way I plan on kissing you. I told you Coho would find a workaround somehow so Sky can still be pure. Also, this is awfully confident for someone who tattooed hopeless on his arm and then ran away from school. He turns around to tend to the pasta like he didn't just ruin me for any other guy for the rest of my life. I can't feel my legs, so I do the only thing I can. I slide down the refrigerator until my butt meets the floor and I inhale. What in the cartoon is this? Why do all of these characters imprint on each other like baby birds? Saturday, September 1st, 2012, 7:15 p.m. They play a dinner game where I asked you a really personal, uncomfortable question and you aren't allowed to take a drink or eat a bite of food until you answer it honestly, and vice versa. Sounds annoying. Every Coho character is annoying. Holder admits he followed her in the car park because she reminded him of his sister. Then he tells her his twin sister killed herself last year. Coho, why does he plan on kissing his own twin sister like nobody has ever been kissed before? Just write the incest plot you clearly want to. They change subjects. Sky tells Holder she doesn't remember her biological dad and she was adopted. I point to his arm with my fork. What does your tattoo mean? He holds his arm out and traces his fingers over it. It's a reminder. I got it after Les died. A reminder for what? He picks up his cup and diverts his eyes from mine. It's the only question he hasn't been able to answer with direct eye contact. It's a reminder of the people I've let down in my life. That is unreasonably depressing. She asks why he beat that dude up. He says it's because they laughed about his recently deceased sister, saying she took the easy, selfish way out, so Holder beat him up until he went deaf in one ear. And then the school got attacked by ninjas and then he beat all of them up and then he played a sad guitar solo that was nevertheless totally awesome. Anyway, he admits he's too scared to end game himself, and then Sky starts shaking, so he kisses her on the head and offers dessert. Women are essentially just kittens, aren't they? Poor little pet. He looks back at me and I'm still staring at him in shock. I don't even know what to say. Did he just admit that he's suicidal? Was he being metaphorical? Melodramatic? Me, whenever I'm mildly inconvenienced, I'm Holder, not Sky. After all, the lack of vegan Maltesers nearly has me walking into the sea. I should make my own, called the Malt Yeezers. I like how I'm just stealing Yeezy from Kanye West, who's not, as if he's not infinitely more powerful than me and more rich. Hey, he says soothingly, taking my face into his hands. His expression is serene. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm not suicidal if that's what's freaking you out. I'm not messed up in the head. I'm not deranged. I'm not suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm just a brother who loved his sister more than life itself, so I get a little intense when I'm thinking about her. Of course he can't be burdened with pesky mental illness or anything he'd have to go to actual therapy for, because that would be too inconvenient for Coho. He doesn't even do bereavement counselling. What a boss. To be fair, neither did I. At this, Sky runs off and cries since the first time she was 5. Oh, behave. Wait, even worse. I don't ugly cry. I don't sob and I don't even make a noise. A single tear falls down my cheek and it's one tear too many, so I quickly wipe it away. A single tear. Stop the presses. We've got one. We have a post-Victorian era woman crying a single tear in a romance novel. But unlike a Victorian-era romance novel, this has themes of horrible sexual abuse, not because Coho has the tact or training to deal with them, or because her readers want to understand life's dark underbelly, but because they just like to gawk at it from the sidelines whilst eating popcorn. Then he asks her if she can get pregnant and that he could knock her up without having ever kissed her. What a charmer. Was all the talk about sibling suicide just foreplay? She reads to him instead, but he doesn't pay attention, just stares at her mouth. How is this interesting? Still, his expression hasn't changed, and he's staring at me like he wants to eat me. I sort of wish he would. Coho, stop being dirty. You have a nice mouth, he says. I can't stop looking at it. You should taste it, I say. It's quite lovely. I can't really hear a Texan accent saying it's quite lovely. He wants to long out their firsts. The easy ones. First hug, first date, first fight, first time we slept together, although I wasn't the one sleeping. Now we barely have any left. First kiss. First time to sleep together when we're both actually awake. First marriage. First kid. We're done after that. Our lives will become mundane and boring, and I'll have to divorce you and marry a wife who's 20 years younger than me so I can have a lot more first, and you'll be stuck raising the kids. Unironically, Hoover's ideal man. I shake my head. I don't find you attractive at all. You repulse me. In fact, you better not kiss me because I'm pretty sure I just threw up in my mouth. Wow, this is so Blake and Ryan Reynolds coded. I can see them trying to play this and then trying to get away with being 20 years younger. Like Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively just in backwards baseball caps. He starts kissing her face. Oh God, I've never been so not bored in my life. He's not even kissing me and it's already the best kiss I've ever had. Well, I'm actually incredibly bored. Where is the plot? This is just porn without plot about teenagers. Also, where are the parents? Why does every book like this have absent parents if the characters are teenagers? When he reaches my ear again, he doesn't speak this time. Instead, he kisses it, and there isn't a nerve ending in my body that doesn't feel it. From my head all the way down to my toes, my entire body is screaming for his mouth. I place my hands on his neck, and when I do, chills break out on his skin. Apparently, that one simple move momentarily melts his resolve, and for a second, his tongue meets my neck. I moan, and the sound completely sends him into a frenzy. He moves his hand away from my waist to the side of my head and pulls my neck against his mouth, holding nothing back. I open my eyes, shocked at how quickly his demeanor changed. He kisses and licks every inch of my neck, only gasping for air when it's absolutely necessary. As soon as I see the stars above my head, there isn't enough time to count one of them before my eyes roll back into my head and I'm holding back sounds that I'm too embarrassed to utter. He moves his lips further away from my neck and closer to my chest. If we didn't have such a limited supply as first, I'd tear my shirt off and make him keep going. Instead, he doesn't even give me this option. He kisses his way back up to my neck, to my chin, and trails soft kisses around my entire mouth, careful not to once touch my lips. I don't even know what's more unbelievable, that I'm wasting my life reading this, writing this, and now performing this about teenagers, yeah? Or that she's orgasming, again, teenagers, over him licking her neck. Coho has really put a lot of thought into the sexual pleasure of this school-age child. They're so perfect, he says breathlessly. Like hearts. I could literally stare at your lips for days and never get bored. Try it. I'll time you and see. Get a hobby, you idiot. He groans again and presses his forehead against mine. His arm gives way beneath him and he drops his weight on me, pressing himself against me. Everywhere. All of him. We moan simultaneously once our bodies find that perfect connection, and suddenly it's game on. I'm tearing off his shirt and he's on his knees, helping me pull it off his head. After it's completely off, I wrap my legs around his waist and lock him against me. I've had enough. Again, Coho, just how much time each day would you say you spend imagining school teens having sex? Every time he does it, his lips come closer and closer until they brush lightly against mine. He doesn't close the gap between our mouths, even though I absolutely need him to. Our lips are simply resting together, not kissing. Every time he moves against me, he lets out a breath that seeps into my mouth, and I try to take them all in, because it feels like I need them if I want to survive this moment. The mental image of this, sit there and imagine it for a second. The mental images of this is so dumb. I wrap my arms around his back and tuck my head against his neck for some semblance of stability, because it feels like the entire earth has been shifted off its axis, and holder is the core. That's sad. It's just lame. But also, she uses that axis and core thing again. She realizes they're fully clothed, not kissing, and she's basically about to orgasm. Doesn't say the exact words, but what else does "I'll fall apart and melt" really mean? So she wants to stop because she feels embarrassed by how overcome with lust she is, so she attempts to ask him to stop. He kisses the side of my head and slows down, but he doesn't stop. Sky, if you're asking me to stop, I will. But I'm hoping you're not, because I really don't want to stop. So please. He pulls back and looks down into my eyes, still barely moving his body against mine. His eyes are full of ache and worry. I just don't even know how I'm going to parody this for my own book. I mean, I do, but it's almost beyond parody because it's just so saccharine. His eyes are full of ache and worry, and he's breathless when he speaks. We won't go any further than this, I promise, but please don't ask me to stop where we already are. I need to watch you and I need to hear you, because the fact that I know you're actually feeling this right now is so amazing. You feel incredible and this feels incredible, and please, just please, this made me cry. I guess he must have read It Ends With Us, because he's pulling a Ryle right now. I guess the begging is a little better from a teen than a 30-year-old man. but not by much. But because I never imagined that two people could connect on this intimate level and it could feel so overwhelmingly right, it feels like the purpose of the entire human race revolves around this moment, around the two of us. Everything that's ever happened or will ever happen in the world is simply a backdrop for what's occurring between us right now, and I don't want it to stop. I don't. Holy self-indulgence, Batman. Mindless self-indulgence. Yeah, I'm sure all of the people looking into scientific breakthroughs, human rights cases, and climate change can all call their efforts off now they've heard you guys dry humped in your parentless town. Anyway, they keep doing whatever the hell this is, and then she orgasms. I'm going to cry again. Our mouths are stubbornly resting together as he holds its rhythm, allowing the last of my moans and a rush of my breaths, and maybe even a part of my heart to slip out of me into him. Maybe even a part of my heart. Still, he refuses to give her her first kiss, despite him giving her her first whatever fully clothed orgasm achieved from his listless dry humping against her thigh. Stop. It's going to be so awkward if he ever leaves her at a bus stop with friends. No kiss goodbye, just a quick dry hump against the shelter wall. He then leaves, and we go back to 13 years earlier. She's sitting alone crying when a boy and girl appears, Holder and his twin. The girl has made her a bracelet, and that's it. Monday, September 2nd, 2012, 7:20 a.m. She takes the bracelet out and doesn't remember the boy or the girl from 13 years ago. It's so obvious. It's Holder and his twin. They decide not to run together. I told him I didn't really want things to get weird between us. Besides, I'm really self-conscious when I'm sweaty and snotty and wheezing and smelly, and I'd rather just run alone. Gross. And also, she's clearly in really bad shape. At May, she's even doing the 3 miles. Brecken and Holder show up. Looks like we have quite the predicament here, boys. I smile at both of them, then eye the coffee in Brecken's hand. I see the Mormon brought the Queen her offering of coffee. Very impressive. I look at Holder and cock my eyebrow. Do you wish to reveal your offering, hopeless boy, so that I may decide who shall accompany me at the classroom throne today? Stop trying to give her a personality. It is not working. Where is this weird affectation come from suddenly? She introduces both of them, blah, blah, blah. Later, I wish I'd kissed you Saturday night, he says. He drops his eyes to my lips where his thumb is still stroking them. I can't stop imagining what you taste like. This is not a plot, Coho. It's a big load of nothing. So we had to sit for all that teenager smut just to get them to angsting over not having more sexual contact. At lunch, he showed up at my house on Friday, and after a few misunderstandings, we finally came to an understanding that we just misunderstood each other. I don't know if I'm tired, but I read this 5 times and it doesn't make sense to me. Where did they misunderstand one another? I thought they got on really well. Did Coho just think that was a neat line, so she hammered it in there even though it didn't fit? I don't understand you half as well as I should like, and I misunderstand half of you half as much as you deserve. I'm trying to process the shift from last week to this week, and I can't get past the notion that we might just be too good. Whatever this is, and whatever we're doing, just seems too good and too right and too perfect. It makes me think of all the books I've read and how when things get too good and too right and too perfect, it's only because the ugly twist hasn't infiltrated the goodness of it yet, and I suddenly... No self-awareness for you. Stop. Coho, stop repeating yourself. Holder notices her bracelet and has a reaction. I'm having an allergic reaction to this. Where did you get it? He says again, this time a little more demanding. His grip tightens around my wrist and he's staring at me coldly, expecting an explanation. Good one. He gets even more mad and stomps off. Sky is shocked into a catatonic state over this. Brecken finally lets go of my hand and grabs our trays, then comes back for Holder's tray and clears off the table. He picks up my backpack and takes my hand again, pulling me up. He puts my backpack over... Oh, I wasn't joking. He puts my backpack over his shoulder. It's like when Bella gets shocked when Edward leaves her, then walks me out the cafeteria. He doesn't walk me to my locker or walk me to the classroom. He holds my hand and pulls me along behind him until we're out the doors and across the parking lot, and he's opening a door and pushing me inside into an unfamiliar car. This is a little bit dramatic. Also, regarding Holder, rule number 1 in Coho world is no character under any circumstances will state what's on their mind before the final act, because otherwise there would be nothing to drag along as a plot. They go for ice cream. Then she goes home, doesn't hear from Holder. She's not even mad at him, just shell-shocked that the Holder I had this weekend wasn't even Holder at all. Tuesday, September 4th, 2012, 6:15 a.m. He's waiting for her for their run. They say nothing to each other and go for a run. Dude, if you're so scared of him, this isn't a good idea, but then how would we get conflict and drama otherwise? Also, this might be some of the most forced drama I've ever read. Even in that terrible story with Jared in it, it was funny because the characters weren't actually even human and they just made every bad choice known to man. Here, it's just banal. He tries to touch pinkies with her, so she goes back inside. Friday, September 28th, 2012, 12:05 p.m. He hasn't run with her since or even apologized. The drama. In fact, he's completely ignoring her. Good. Who cares? For this entire month, the one thing on the foot... This is so No, she was just... I referenced later on, we'll get there. His godlike octave, whatever. I was like, is this just Twilight? He ignores her for the entire month. Coho was just reading Twilight because she steals all of her ideas. For this entire month, the one thing in the forefront of my mind more than anything, and I know this is really pathetic, is the fact that I never did get to kiss him. There's no plot to this. You can't believe me otherwise. And I can't believe how empty the lives of these characters are, that they just mill around moping with nothing else going on. Oh, I wish I'd kissed my jogging buddy, who I'm forced to hang out with for some reason. It's Sky's birthday soon, so Brecken gets her something. He grabs the gift and pushes it back in front of me. Open the damn present, Sky. I know you hate getting gifts. Of course she hates getting presents. She's just Bella. Coho, you were so reading Twilight. He got her an e-reader to put all of her Colleen Hoover books on. Friday, September 28th, 2012, 11:50 p.m. Sky is about to turn 18 and Karen is out of town again. Anyway, Sky has been addicted to her Kindle. To be honest, Karen was probably sick of hearing about how Sky wanted to kiss some guy for 30 days straight without ever bothering to do anything about it. I'd leave too. She's dozing in her room when someone comes through the window and gets an... It's just what... Oh, Coho, you are not slick, babe. Oh, I'm actually disappointed in her. I'm so disappointed in her unoriginality. Says me. No, that's the point of parody and satire, to parody things going on. Don't you call me unoriginal. So anyway, someone comes into her room, gets into her bed. She's sure it's Holder, but she does nothing about it. Very weird. His arm slides onto my pillow and his other arm wraps tightly around my body when he finds my hands. He pulls me against his chest and laces his fingers into mine, then buries his head in my neck. Kick him out. They just lie there cuddling and not speaking. I'm so mad at you. As if it's possible, he somehow squeezes me even tighter. He moves his mouth to my ear and kisses it. I know, Sky, he whispers. His hand slips underneath my shirt and presses his open palm against my stomach, pulling me tighter against him. I know. It's amazing what the sound of a voice you've been longing to hear can do to your heart. He spoke 5 words just now, but in the time it took him to speak those 5 words, my heart was shredded and minced, then placed back into my chest with the expectation that it should somehow know to beat again. So dramatic, get some real problems. Then he kisses her shoulder and she allows it even when he's not said sorry yet. My chest grows heavy with his words and it takes an extreme amount of effort to continue pulling breath into my lungs. Is there a level of drama beyond this? Because the language is so extreme for such a tawdry scenario. An extreme amount of effort to force her lungs to work because she's been a bit sad lately over some boy. Grow up. I nod my head slightly because I can completely agree to that. I'm pissed at him, but I want him here with me so much that I don't. He drops his forehead to mine and we grab hold of each other's face, looking desperately into each other's eyes. I'm not sure if he's about to kiss me. I'm not even sure if he's about to get up and leave. The only thing I'm certain about right now is that after this moment, I'll never be the same. I know by the way his existence is like a magnetic pull on my heart that if he ever hurts me again, I'll be far from just fine. I'll be broken. I actually can't be asked for this. And the only reason I'm doing this video is so I can afford a Meta Quest free for my boyfriend's birthday present that was like 2 months ago. So anyway, the PayPal's down in my description. No, I'm joking. If this video does numbers, then he can get it by March at this rate. Oh God, I'm a terrible... He's out there making me... He's not even vegan, but he's out there making me vegan banana bread and it's delicious and has sugar in. Thank you, Coho. And I'm here like, yeah, I'll get you a Meta Quest free. Give me 5 months to save up for it. He still doesn't say sorry. By the time it's his next birthday... no. He still doesn't say sorry, but they finally kiss on the lips. I immediately respond by parting my lips and allowing him to fill me with the sweet taste of his mint leaves and soda. Soda as in soda water or soda as in Coke? Because how often is he drinking Coke if his breath tastes like it? Everything I've been imagining he would be and more. Gentle, rough, caring, selfish. In this one kiss, I feel more of his emotions than in any words he's ever spoken. Our lips are finally intertwining for the first time, or the 20th time, or the millionth time. It doesn't really matter because whatever time it is, it's absolutely perfect. It's incredible and flawless and almost worth everything we've been through in order to get to this moment. For God's sake! Are you sure that's all? Are you sure it's only utter perfection and not more than that? Didn't all the wildlife in your county gather beneath your window and cheer like at Pride Rock? We kiss and kiss in every position possible. How many is that? 3? French? Reverse French? Upside down French? Read my new ebook for the same joke in a different context. Buy it now. Here, links Down in description, links absolutely everywhere. Links in every position possible. They fall asleep together. Still no apology. Saturday, September 29th, 2012, 8:40 a.m. Holder is downstairs cooking breakfast. He left her a present, a phone card with lots of texting minutes. Happy birthday. I really like that dress. I brought real milk. You want some? Almond milk? Again, if she bothered to Google or research, she'd probably know this. Almond milk has actually been around since the 8th century. Like, medieval peasants were drinking it because you just pound up. Back then, almonds were cheaper or something. They grow on trees. You pound it and you add water, and that's how you create almond milk. Coho, you are so it's as real as cow milk. It's not an alternative. It's been around for literally over 1,000 years. Coho, you are so willfully ignorant. It astounds me. For someone who has Google at her fingertips and yet never uses it for anything ever. You know, because maybe the exploitation of female bodies is the theme of this story, and that's why they love dairy so much. No, Coho just thinks veganism is funny and believes the bodies of other sentient beings belong to her. I'm so childish. Also, they sit here just drinking glasses of milk. That is so grim to me, even pre-veganism. Like, I was never one for just sitting there drinking milk because I didn't like cow's milk that much. Because, like, as soon as you've accidentally drunk a bit of milk that has been left out for an hour and gotten warm, cow milk that is, and it's like gone off a bit, never again, right? But like, so pre-veganism, I would never sit there and just drink a glass of milk. Are you kidding? And post-veganism, I would never sit here and drink a glass of coconut milk straight either. It's just weird. It's so, I don't know. It's just weird. They snog, and then Sky knows what Holder's problem is and asks him how long he's been using drugs. Can't wait for Hoover, who has never had anything stronger than a paracetamol, to pull this one out of her ass. He laughs at her and says he's not on drugs. Well, I'm disappointed. I didn't want to let you down, Sky. I've let everyone down in my life that's ever loved me. And after that day at lunch, I knew I let you down too. So I left before you could start loving me. Otherwise, any effort to not disappoint you would be hopeless. He leans forward across the table and takes my hand, looking me hard in the eyes. I'm not apologizing to you because I don't want you to ever forgive me. He is so annoying, and no one talks like this. I'm reading Oblomov, and even old Russian authors don't talk like this. Coho, here's the issue. Every tiny little thing is dialed up to 11, so nothing ever has any weight to it. His angst is generic. Coho, tie it to his grief over his sister instead of making him a martyr for literally everything that he has ever known. I'm happy to be your editor, Coho, but will involve me punching the typewriter until you learn how to write properly. So he refuses to tell her why he had an extreme reaction to the bracelet, but he yaps on and on about how much he likes her. It's killing me, Sky, he says. His voice is much more calm and quiet. It's killing me because... Thank God. I thought it was going to be like, it's killing me because. Like, you just know that she, like watched some bad slam dunk poetry once, and that's why she repeats herself all the time. It's killing me because I don't want you to go another day without knowing how I feel about you. And I'm not ready to tell you I'm in love with you because I'm not yet. But whatever this is I'm feeling, it's so much more than just like. It's so much more. And for the past few weeks, I've been trying to figure it out. I've been trying to figure out why there isn't some other word to describe it. I want to tell you exactly how I feel, but there isn't a single goddamn word in the entire dictionary that can describe this point in between liking you and loving you. But I need that word. I need it because I need you to hear me say it. Are Coho books what happens when your life just revolves around men? Also, Holder, you couldn't just hang out with her and let the feelings develop naturally and organically. You had to run off to your Temu Batcave and brood? Bellend. I'm looking into his terrified eyes, and for the first time since we met, I think I actually understand him. All of him. He doesn't react the way he does. I feel like I've read this like 1,000,000 times already because I've done like 1 billion Coho books. He doesn't react the way he does because there are 5 different sides to his personality. He reacts the way he does because there's only one side to Dean Holder. Passionate. He's passionate about life, about love, about his words, about Les. It would be interesting to if any of this passion ever went into anything else ever. Like maybe if we don't know about anything he does except for running. Like he's so passionate. Does he write? Does he do poetry? Does he do anything like theatrical or anything like creative? We just don't know. He just runs. Runs away from his feelings. I'll be damned if I wasn't just added to his list. The intensity he conveys isn't unnerving. It's beautiful. Like, imagine if he'd put this passion into anything other than this girl. I've gone so long trying to find ways to feel numb any chance I get, but seeing the enthusiasm behind his eyes right now, it makes me want to feel every single thing about life. The good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, the pleasure, the pain. I want that. I want to start feeling life the same way he does. And my first step to doing so starts with this hopeless boy in front of me who's pouring his heart out, searching for that perfect word, wanting desperately to help me add feeling back into living. I am so tired of this. Live. If you mix up the letters in the words like and love, you get live. You can use that word. He laughs again, but this time it's a laugh of relief. He wraps his arms around me and kisses me with nothing but a hell of a lot of relief. I live you, Sky, he says against my lips. I live you so much. Go to hell. Saturday, September 29, 2012, 9:20 a.m. I have no idea how he does it, but I've completely forgiven him, have become infatuated with him, and now I can't stop kissing him, all in the space of 15 minutes. This is embarrassing. They go to see Karen running a herbal booth at a flea market. Has Hoover ever met any real vegans? Has Hoover ever met anyone outside of her husband and sons? She also accidentally calls him her boyfriend and is like, oh no, but he's like, yay. And I'm like, snore. This has the dramatic tension of going to the post office. Then there's pages about them kissing. Good Lord, Hoover. Buy a rose toy for God's sake. Holder then says if Grayson gives her trouble, he'll punch him again. And she's like, what did you mean again? And he's like, whatever. Not even 5 minutes later, after Holder leaves, he texts her. I'm really dreading spending all day with you. This doesn't sound like fun at all. Also, your sundress is really unflattering and way too summery, but you should definitely keep it on. So Ryan Reynolds coded. I get it. They do the quirky texting thing. Give it a rest for 1 minute, Coho. I'm begging you. She calls Six to inform her about her boyfriend. It's not very interesting. Saturday, September 29, 2012, 10:25 a.m. Holder returns with Brecken, who claims Holder is his second best friend in the whole wide world. Why don't any of these people have personalities? Why are they all so codependent? It's so weird. Oh, Brecken and Holder have actually been secret friends for 2 weeks. He glances at me, then looks at the road in front of him. Brecken deserved an apology. I acted like an asshole that day. And I didn't deserve one? He looks me dead on this time. No, he says firmly, turning his gaze back to the road. You don't deserve words, Sky. You deserve actions. You can't tell, but I'm actually being a bit sick in my mouth. Brecken rests his chin on the top of my headrest and looks down at me. What type of car is this? Because that sounds kind of uncomfortable. Brecken laughs and reaches over the seat to grab my hands, then pulls me towards him. He must be, because I really want to cuddle you in the back seat right now, Brecken says. I'm not rubbing off on you that much if you think I'd be the only one cuddling her in the back seat, Holder says. He slaps me right in the ass before I fall into the back with Brecken. Again, I'm really confused about the interior of this car. Is this like one of those old-fashioned ones that don't have like the head? I don't... But then it says there's a head. Oh, I don't know. Who cares? So they get to the flea market and Sky is getting them to buy her whatever she wants. I pick up the pepper shaker and hand it to him. They aren't anything I would ever want. I'm not sure how they could be anything anyone would want. Who makes ceramic salt and pepper shakers fashioned out of small and large intestines? No one does that. How quirky. It's just the kind of thing a modestly drop-dead gorgeous protagonist would find fun even if nobody else gets her. I'd like to hand her my own salt and pepper shakers. The salt is made of screw you, and the pepper is made of an even bigger screw you. Then we get absolutely no description of the flea market. Though I'm sure we can all imagine how borderline offensive and cliche it would have been if we had. They meet Karen, who has an unusual reaction to seeing Holder and Sky dating. Mum, trust me, we literally just agreed to start dating a few hours ago. There's no way anything will happen between us that you fear might happen. He'll be gone by midnight, I promise. She nods unconvincingly. It's just, I don't know, seeing the two of you now with your arms around each other, the way both of you were interacting. It's not the way new couples look at each other, Sky. It just threw me off because I thought you might be seeing him for a while, but you've been keeping it from me. I want you to be able to talk to me about anything. They are so special. They even hold each other in a special way. This story is giving me spots. Saturday, September 29, 2012, 10:15 p.m. We've arrived back at his house after spending 8 hours walking and perusing junk. Holder and Brecken finally gave in and we all got a little competitive, seeing who could find the most random object. I think I still won with the gut shakers, but Brecken came in a close second with a velvet painting of a puppy riding on the back of a unicorn. Oh my god, that's so quirky. It hurts. Ugh. Brecken leaves. He puts the car in park and unbuckles his seatbelt, then turns around his seat. Come here, he says, reaching for my arms. He grabs my wrist and pulls me forward until our faces are just inches apart. He lifts his hand to my face and smashes my cheeks together like I'm a little kid. He gives me a loud peck on my squished up lips. I had fun today. You're kind of weird. Why is she always being pulled around? Holder takes her to a tiny local airport and then they climb a fence, which isn't illegal because his stepdad manages the airport, sure, and then they hang out on the runway and stare at the stars. What in the indie movie? I know for a fact that if he hurts me like he's hurt me before, it'll be the last time he ever hurts me. Word proximity. But we'll have to cut her some slack. I'm sure she's just likely beginning to space out on the jet fuel spilled on the runway. Jet fuel can't melt away the shittiness in Colleen Hoover books. Colleen Hoover's will to write terrible books is the strongest material known to man. Anyway, Colleen Hoover has ruined me because I was on TikTok watching a Reddit story with Minecraft parkour in the background, and this guy kept using lame Coho-esque repetition. Things like, I love that she does XYZ, I love that she does etc, etc, I know she loves me because etc, etc. And it made me think the whole story was fake and written by Colleen. Have you had a good life? He asked quietly. You're both like 12, you haven't lived. They spend the rest of the date saying nothing and then going home. If that's a date, then I've dated everyone I share a tube trip with. Alizee easy on the Northern Line. He doesn't want to stay over. I can't, he says. It's a combination of things, really. The fact my mum would inundate me with questions about where I've been since last night. The fact that I heard you promise your mum say I would leave by midnight. The fact that the entire time you're walking around today, I couldn't stop thinking about what's underneath this dress. See? I can't take it. Then he goes on about how tasty her lips are. I shiver under his fingertips. I'm shivering for a whole different reason. Then they keep talking about their feelings. Whatever this is, I don't want to analyse it. I don't want you to analysing it either, okay? Let's just be grateful that I finally found you. I laugh his last sentence. You say that like you've been looking for me. Clumsy, clunky, unnatural. Her response. No one speaks like this other than in movies. It would be more natural to say, have you been looking for me? Rather than whatever this is. Ooh, look at me. I've published 2 ebooks. Now I'm an expert writer. Anyway, they live each other and then go home. Monday, October 22, 2012, 12:05 p.m. 1 whole month later. So far, I haven't found any idiosyncrasies of his that drive me crazy. If anything, the small habits he has just makes me adore him even more. Like the way he still stares at me like he's studying me, and the way he pops his jaw when he's irritated, and the way he licks his lips every time he laughs. It's actually sort of hot. Are you dating a lizard? It's been a whole month of nice Holder instead of moody Holder. The suspense is terrible. I hope it'll last. In fact, we somehow become more and more in tune with each other the more time we spend together. Yeah, that's a completely normal consequence of spending more time with someone. More news at 6. We didn't actually need more proof that Coho has no idea what a relationship is, but she keeps supplying it anyway. Brecken also has a new boyfriend called Max, who he's known for all of 2 weeks. Anyway, Sky is sexually frustrated because even though they've been dating, they haven't been doing that weird licking thing, so it's not time well spent. He might actually be a lizard. Max wants them to come to his art show. Brecken rolls his eyes. You know which one you need to enter and it isn't either of those two. Max cuts his eyes to Brecken. We live in East Texas. I doubt the gay-themed painting will go over very well around here. Holder looks back and forth between them. Who gives a shit what people around here think? Shut up, Holder. You hetero, cis, male. You don't get an opinion in this. I shake my head. If God's the type of guy that would damn you to hell just for loving someone, then I wouldn't want to spend eternity with him anyway. I'd bet a tenner on this being a performative move by Coho to really relate to them TikTok teen consumers. Did I read somewhere that the younger gens are actually swinging back to more conservative because socially it's a little bit of a pendulum, like every decade or so? If so, right, if the gen beneath the teens right now, if the next gen swing more conservative, I bet her books will then be on the other side. If God's the type of guy that'll damn you to hell just for loving someone, then count me in on that. I bet she would just move with the times. Holder wants Sky to stay over at his on Saturday. My arms break out in chills and I suddenly have visions that are entirely too inappropriate for a high school cafeteria. Writes the middle-aged mum about high school students. Then some guy is randomly homophobic and Brecken and Max have to stop Holder going Super Saiyan on them. What is this? Straight man savior complex? That's nice, the guy says from behind us. Let the slut talk you down from defending your new friends. I guess they don't mean as much to you as Leslie did. Why is Leslie spelt that way? I'll give you one clue as to why Leslie is spelt that way with 2 S's and the clue is in the title. Otherwise, I'd be in as bad a shape as Jake was the year after you laid... whatever, he beat him up, okay? This is like comically evil. It takes all I have not to jump up and kick the guy's ass myself, so I know Holder has absolutely no restraint left in him. He begins to turn around and his face is expressionless. I've never seen him so rigid. It's terrifying. I know something is about to happen and I have no clue how to prevent it. Before he can leap across the table and beat the shit out of the guy, I do something that shocks even myself. I slap Holder as hard as I can across the face. Huh? Also, it's not that she just like slaps him a lot in this book. I can't tell if it's terrible writing or if it's Sky's trauma response that is also terrible writing. They leave and Holder beats up a locker and then starts crying. I lied, he says. His words stab at my heart and I'm terrified of what he's about to say. I told you I'd do it again. I told you I'd beat Jake's ass again if I had the chance. He takes my cheeks in his palms and looks at me desperately. I wouldn't. He didn't deserve what I did to him, Sky, and that kid in there just now. He's Jake's little brother. He hates me for what I did and he has every right to hate me. He has every right to say whatever he wants to say about me because I deserve it. I do. Oh my god, cry harder, you self-flagellating idiot. He shakes his head in disagreement. Jake was right. I know he shouldn't have said it and I definitely know I shouldn't have laid a finger on him, but he was right. What Les did wasn't brave or noble or courageous. What she did was selfish. She didn't even try to tough it out. She wasn't thinking about me. She wasn't thinking about my parents. She was thinking about herself and didn't give a shit about the rest of us. And I hate her for it. I hate her for it and I'm tired of hating her, Sky. I'm so tired of hating her because it's tearing me down and making me this person I don't want to be. She doesn't deserve to be hated. It's my fault she did. The twists and turns, it's like a roller coaster. It's my fault she did what she did. I should have helped her, but I didn't. I didn't know. I loved that girl more than I ever loved anyone. I had no idea how bad it was for her. That's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them.
Wow, that's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them.
Anyway, Sky heals him with kisses and everything is better. Oh, and now they are also soulmates. Suicide trauma is famously fixed by banging the guilt away or whatever lizard sex these two non-personalities engage in. He also thanks her for slapping some sense into him, so I guess it's fine. Friday, October 26th, 2012, 3:40 p.m. Sky accidentally sent Holder a text that she was sending to Six, and it was about being ready for SEX. Whether it's tomorrow night or next year, I can promise you will be... Oh my god, why does everyone monologue in this? What is this? It'll be the best damn night of my life. You just make sure you're making that decision for yourself and no one else, okay? I'll always want you, but I'm not going to let myself have you until you're 100% sure you want me just as much. And don't say anything right now. I'm turning around and walking back to my car and we can pretend this conversation never happened. Otherwise, you may never stop blushing. Most unrealistic teenage boy I've ever seen. The stakes have never been lower. Later on, I'm walking to your house right now. I know it's late and your mum is home, but I can't wait until tomorrow night to kiss you again. Make sure your window is unlocked. You know how I'm a genius? And I worked out how Colleen Hoover straight up steals stuff from things that she's watching or reading. There was that thing from Scrubs about the Pringles. There was all the stuff and it ends with us stolen from How I Met Your Mother, including the Naked Truth stuff. There's an episode of How I Met Your Mother called The Naked Truth, pretty sure. Well, I've sussed out that this I know I said this earlier, but I just clocked it around about here. I sussed out all this unlocked window business. She was clearly reading Twilight. Holder arrives, drunk, they snog, he falls asleep and says, I love you, Hope. So Sky starts freaking out that he called her another girl's name, except it's clearly her. She's clearly called Hope and had her name changed when she was adopted. Hoover, I'm too good for your twisty rubbish. Don't even start. I have legitimately had bowel movements with more compelling twists and turns. 13 years earlier, Sky is hiding under a duvet and scared of the doorknob turning into her room. That's it. Saturday, October 27, 2012, sometime in the middle of the night. Sky wakes up crying and Holder is worried. That's also it. Saturday, October 27, 2012, 8:20 p.m. I give Brecken and Max a hug in the parking lot of the gallery. The gallery show has ended. I love that we absolutely see none of it. Sky is still thinking about the I love you, Hope line, but hasn't asked him about it. Are you kidding? If that were me, I'd have woken him up, been like, excuse me? Holder calls her princess and she bites his head off. Obviously, it's a subconscious trigger. Hoover, I am literally smarter than all of your audience put together. I got an A on a philosophy paper recently, so get bent, you can't fool me. He laughs and kisses me on top of the head. I have a feeling I won't be living you for much longer. He gives me another quick kiss, then takes my hand. Ready for the grand tour? I follow him towards his house, but I'm still stuck on the fact that he just told me he's about to stop living me. If he stops living me, that means he'll be loving me. He just confessed that he's falling in love with me without actually saying it. The most shocking thing about this confession is that I really liked it. Person likes hearing someone else loves them. No way, man. No way. I am shocked, I tell you. Shocked. They go to his. Sky asks whether she can meet his mum. He's like, I don't do that. Then she's like, oh, I bet Hope got to meet her. Then he's horrified, so she tries to drop it immediately. Stand up, Sky. She then explains, and then he's all, I don't know anyone called Hope. I still don't. What a liar. He lied. Oh, what a liar. He lied to her. Then they start kissing, and then she blurts out she's a virgin. This chapter really is a mile a minute, probably to make up for the previous 2 dud chapters. I just thought you should know. I probably should have picked a better time to state that fact, but sometimes I blurt things out without thinking. It's a really bad trait, and I hate it because I do it at the most inopportune moments. It's embarrassing. Like right now, I hate her dialogue. It is so unnatural. Like, I just said that out loud, yeah? But imagine I said that directed towards someone. Imagine that's how I was speaking naturally towards someone. Nobody talks like this. I, however, am the king of dialogue, so buy my ebook. I blush. Being called hot is seriously hot. My smut is better than this too. Anyway, he also has an 80-inch TV. I think he's rich or something. Wow, I say impressed. It's huge. That's what she said. How dare you besmirch a good that's what she said.
That's what she said.
He invites her to Netflix and chill, but she doesn't even know what Netflix is. She wants to watch The Jerk, and he starts going on about how bangable she is, but how that being her favourite film makes her more bangable because nobody turns on teen boys like Steve Martin, I guess. His mouth is closing in on mine, and the way his voice has dropped into some sort of lyrical godlike octave makes my heart pummel. Now that I've mentioned Twilight, it's all I can see in the text. But also, which octave, Coho? Does he sound like Nick Cave or does he sound like Justin Hawkins? His playfulness makes me laugh and I whisper seductively against his lips. He hates these cans. He groans and kisses me, then pulls away. Do it again, please. Hearing you talk in movie quotes is so much hotter than kissing you. I laugh and give him another quote. Stay away from the cans. He groans playfully in my ear. That's my girl. One more. Do one more. Unbearable. My horrible parodica is legitimately better than this. The second his body falls against mine, I gasp loudly. I hadn't taken into consideration that when I lifted up my leg, it would also push the hem of my dress up. Way up. Couple that with the hard denim of his jeans and you have a pretty gasp-worthy combination. That is abysmal. Terrible, terrible writing. They make out, there's paragraphs of it. She asks if they can have sex. I grab his hand and put it right back to where it was on my hip. I want to do this, but only if you promise we'll break the record for the best first time in the history of first times. He grins down at me. When it's you and me, Sky, it will never be anything less. I doubt that, but go on. Continue. I want to hear about this sex scene between these 2 high schoolers. I've never been this exposed in front of someone before, but the way he's admiring me only makes me want to be this exposed. He slides his hands up to my bra and grazes his thumb just underneath it, causing my lips to part and my eyes to close again. Why am I reading this smut about and for teenagers? Her excitement turns to dread and she has a panic attack before he puts on a condom. I know how much it hurts and I know how it'll make me cry when it's over, but how do I know? How do I know if I've never done this before? What a shocking development. No one saw this one coming. I just know that there are some like little cohorts, that's what she calls them, some little cohorts that were reading this like, why is it going to make her cry? How does she know that? Oh, abysmal. Do you reckon Coho's bringing down the media literacy rate 1 book at a time? Anyway, she's freaking out, so... Damn it, Sky, Holder yells. He's pulling my arm away from my eyes. I don't want him to make me look, so I hold my arm tighter against my face so everything will stay dark and I can silently keep counting. So he yells about it, then apologizes, then he starts freaking out, saying she had completely disassociated, etc, etc. Imagine you've never read Coho and you think you're reading some sort of young adult romance and then halfway through you're hit with child sexual abuse trauma. I have no idea what just happened, but the fear of losing him because of it is a valid one. I just took one of the most intimate things imaginable and I turned it into a disaster. I made him feel worthless, like he did something wrong and now he feels bad for me because of it. He probably wants me to leave and I don't blame him. I don't blame him a bit. I want to run away from me too. Oh, shut up. It wouldn't be Coho without the characters making every possible problem insolvable and entirely about them. Whatever you do, don't seek professional opinions or help on this. Just fret idly and waste everyone's time. Holder goes off to get some water for her, so she sneaks off and enters his dead sister's room and decides to rummage through it. She finds the room is still messy because the family haven't accepted it yet and can't bear to go inside. It feels eerie being in here, but it's keeping my mind off of what's happening right now. I pick up a picture from a nightstand that's turned face down. When I flip it over and look at it, I gasp. It's a picture of her kissing Grayson on the cheek and they have their arms around each other. This is so nosy and entitled and self-centered. Like, hey, sorry, I had to take my mind off a thing, so thought I would just root around in your dead sister's room. You won't mind. You'll probably find it hot somehow. Holder finds her and surprisingly doesn't flip out at her. My expectations are always on the ocean floor for these men. She finds a picture of Leslie and Holder in front of a white house and recognizes it but doesn't know how or where from. She notices that she and Leslie have an identical bracelet. She asks Holder all about it and realizes that he's been holding something back from her. Is that why his name's Holder? She runs off to the bathroom and gets a million repressed memories of her, Holder and Leslie spending their childhood together. So she gets upset, gets mad, then confronts Holder, then realizes that she is Hope, and then she runs off outside to calm down. This is where things take a turn for the crazier. I stand outside for what feels like forever, attempting to sort through this alone when I have no idea what it is I'm even trying to sort through. I need to talk to Holder and I need to know what he knows, but I'm hurt. I don't want to face him, knowing he's been hiding the secret all along. It makes everything that I thought was happening between us nothing but a facade. I will never understand people who claim to cry at Coho books because this has all of the emotional gut punch as filling in a customer satisfaction questionnaire for arse pimple removal cream. He demands he takes her home. He seemingly complies. We pass my turn off and it's apparent he has no intention of taking me home. I glance over at him and his eyes are focused hard on the road in front of him. Take me home, I say again. He looks at me with a determined expression. We need to talk, Sky. You have questions? I know you do. Okay, kidnapper. Sky is dumb, so she agrees to this. I do. I have a million questions I need to ask, but I was hoping he would let me sleep in it so I could sort them out and try to answer as many of them as I could myself. But it's obvious he doesn't care what I prefer at this point. Boyfriend goals, I guess. She's all, why did you lie? What's going on? Did you string me along? Do you even like me? I don't know how she went from like point A to point 10. Like, he's an idiot. But the truth is clearly going to be something awful and everyone's protecting her from it with their lies. So how is this turned into, ha, I bet he doesn't even like me when he literally said, I love you, Hope. My God, the angst. Like, how in the name of Atlas's underwhelming personality is she worried that he doesn't really like her when the situation is quite clearly that she has an entire life hidden by her own subconscious? When he continues to drive without responding to a single word I've said, I could do nothing but let out a small pathetic laugh. You really are hopeless, I mutter. Gotta get that title in any way you can, huh, Coho? It's a bit easier calling the book Hopeless instead of the more accurate title of Trauma Bait, The Reckoning. 13 years earlier, Sky, Dean and Leslie are playing hide and seek. Hope and Les, he says quietly. Hopeless. Hopeless. He laughs again and stands up. You hear that? He yells, cupping his hands around his mouth. The two of you are hopeless. Hearing him turn our names into a word makes Leslie laugh and she crawls out from under the porch. I follow her and stand up as soon as Dean turns around and sees her. He smiles and looks at us both, our knees covered in dirt with cobwebs in our hair. He shakes his head and says it again. Hopeless. I was tired at this point because I did think to myself, well, at least Hoover is a creative hack. Like, it truly doesn't matter how round the hole is and how square the peg is. Once Ho-Ho the Pokemon, once Coho has it in her mind to mash them together, no force on earth can stop her. The portmanteau doesn't even work because it sounds like Hopeless. Leslie. Hopeless. Which is stupid unless his sister's name is pronounced Hopeless. Leslie, which is also stupid. Then again, Hoover did call the MMC Holder, Sky, and 6. So I guess what's a Leslie? Anyway, Saturday, October 27, 2012, 11:20 p.m. She realizes his tattoo is a reference to her and Leslie, or Leslie, hopeless, Hopeless, Leslie. Leslie, the people I've let down in my life. He pulls the car over and I'm hoping he's turning it around. Instead, he kills the ignition and opens his door. I look out the window and recognise we're at the airport again. I'm annoyed. I don't want to come here and watch him stare at the stars again while he thinks. I want answers or I want to go home. I swing open the door and reluctantly follow him to the fence, hoping if I appease him this one last time that I'll get a quick explanation from him. He helps me scale the fence again and we both walk back to our spots on the runway and lie down. This is low-key a very dramatic setting for a very serious talk. He leans forward and lifts his hand, bringing it to my cheek. I need to kiss you. I almost break out into laughter, but I'm afraid if I do, it'll be the maniacal kind, and that terrifies me, because I already assume I'm going crazy. I shake my head, shocked that he would even think I would let him kiss me right now, not after finding out he's been lying to me for 2 solid months. No, I say forcefully. He keeps his face close to mine and his hand on my cheek. I hate that even though every ounce of anger in me is a result of his deceit, my body still responds to his touch. It's an odd internal battle when you can't decide if you want to punch the mouth sitting 3 inches in front of your face or taste it. I need to kiss you, he says again, this time a desperate plea. Please, Sky, I'm scared that after I tell you what I'm about to tell you, I'll never get to kiss you again. He pulls himself closer to me and strokes my cheek with his thumb, never taking his eyes off mine. Please, get out. So of course she allows the kiss because of course she does. And of course it's a kiss full of angst. Anyway, so he says he wasn't sure that she was Hope at first because her ID had a different name. When they were younger, they were neighbours to her and her father. He'd been looking for Hope for years, but gave up after meeting Sky. After seeing the bracelet that she was wearing, he realised that she was Hope. He's holding on to me because his earth has been shifted off his axis and I'm his core. Oh, Coho was definitely reading Twilight. They took you. Whoever was in that car, they took you from your dad, from me, from Les. You've been missing for 13 years, Hope. Okay, sure. Why not at this point? Saturday, October 27, 2012, 11:57 p.m. So Sky is all OMG and freaks out. I kiss him hard and fast, wanting him to react, but he doesn't. He doesn't kiss me back. He refuses to help make the pain go away like this, so my anger takes over and I separate my lip from his, then slap him. Lady, you have got to stop slapping him. It would be just dandy if this world had responsible adults or mental health care professionals rather than teenagers driving about at all hours, making life worse for everyone and, most importantly, me. She slaps him again. When he doesn't react, I push against his chest. I push him and shove him over and over, trying to give him back every ounce of pain he's just immersed into my soul. I ball my fists up and hit him hard in the chest, and when that doesn't work, I start screaming and hitting him and trying to get out of his arms because they're wrapped around me now. Then she just starts wailing on him, but luckily she's a puny female and thus can't hurt him. I realise in this moment that I'm not even crying. I haven't cried at all since the truth passed his lips, and I make it a point to refuse the tears that are demanding to be set free. Tears won't help me right now. They'll just make me weaker. I place my palms on his chest and lightly push against him. I feel like I'm vulnerable to more tears when he holds me because he feels so comforting. I don't need anyone's comfort. I need to learn how to rely on myself to stay strong because I'm the only one I can trust, and I'm even skeptical about my own trustworthiness. Okay, edgelord. No thought process on actually delving properly into answers, just deciding you're a lone Sigma wolf now? Okay. She then starts being like, you were never going to tell me just so you could screw me. Random neurosis alert. He says he didn't want to say anything so she's not taken from Karen and sent back to her dad. Sky, there's so much I need to explain to you. He brings his eyes back to meet mine. Your birthday wasn't in September. Your birthday is May 7th. You don't even turn 18 for 6 more months. What a twist. She's still a minor. That makes all the intimate scenes, I can't say it. Don't make me say it. I'm joking, but people will clip that. Makes all the intimate scenes more hotter, doesn't it? She makes him take her home and she's repulsed by him and his deceit. He makes her promise not to tell Karen so they can work out what on earth is going on. Sunday, October 28, 2012, 12:37 a.m. Sky is upset, obviously. Karen is up waiting for her. It's like I'm in a scene from a dramatic Lifetime movie. Knowing Hoover's propensity to copy everything she sees like an infant, this probably isn't far from the truth. Karen tells her she can't see Holder again because she found Sky's secret phone. I look at my phone being held tightly in her hands. She hits a button and holds up the screen to face me. And what the hell can I text to these, Sky? They're awful. He says awful, vile things to you. She drops the phone onto the bed and reaches up for my hands, grasping them. Why would you allow yourself to be with someone who treats you this way? I raised you better than this. Well, at least the you aren't pretty / clever / hygienic texts actually were set up and had a payoff, even if it's the most contrived kind of payoff. She says he's not serious about the text. Karen disagrees and says Holder is disrespectful, and Sky asks why she can't have a phone and the internet anyway, and also why was she homeschooled, but gets nowhere with it and gets grounded instead. 13 years earlier. Hope is crying and a lady in a car tells her to come with her. It's Karen. I take a sip from my juice. It's apple juice. I love apple juice. But what about my daddy? Is he coming too? Karen shakes her head. No, sweetie. It'll just be me and you when we get there. I put the straw back in my mouth because I don't want to see her to see me smile. I don't want her to know that I'm happy my daddy isn't coming with us. No 4 to 5-year-old has this type of consideration in the last paragraph. I refuse it. Sunday, 28th October, 2012, 2:45 a.m. Anyway, that last memory was actually a dream, and then all of her repressed memories pop up because that's how that works, and then she realizes that Holder is sleeping next to her. Your heart, he says, feeling my pulse beating against his fingertips. You're scared. Oh my god, that's so from Twilight too. Seeing him in my bed, caring for me like he is, I can't be mad at him. I can't blame him. Despite the fact I want to be mad at him, I just can't. If he wasn't here right now to comfort me after the realization I just had, I don't know what I would do. Oh, behave, Coho, it's still breaking and entering. Like Twilight. Then Karen comes in. I walk to the bed and Karen cuts me off, placing her hands on my shoulders and forcing me to look at her. Sky, she says, dumbfounded. What are you doing? What's wrong with you? You're not leaving with him. Holder walks back into the bedroom with a handful of toiletries and walks directly around Karen, piling them into a bag. Karen, I suggest you let go of her, he says as calmly as a threat can possibly sound. Very big of a coho male to get uppity about someone blocking an exit. Karen threatens to call the police, obviously doesn't, and then they leave. Sunday, October 28th, 2012, 3:10 a.m. There isn't a single star in the sky tonight to count, only lightning. It seems fitting for the night I've had. Better writers don't need to make this so overt. At least she cut, which was bad at the very end. So they decide to road trip. We'll go wherever you want. I doubt you want to go to Austin though. I look over at him. Why wouldn't I want to go to Austin? He purses his lips and flips on the windshield wipers. He placed his hand on my knee and brushed it with his thumb. That's where you're from, he says quietly. I can't remember where they are now, somewhere in Texas, but what are the chances they met again in a completely different part of Texas, a completely different town? Texas is pretty big, so I've heard. She wants to see her dad because sure, she remembers everything else so far, but doesn't remember he's an incestuous nonce. Oh, it's going there. Anything for a dramatic, obvious build-up, I suppose. But Holder says it's a bad idea because it will end up being a media circus. I swing open the door and step out into the shoulder of the highway. That's smart. For a second, I thought, oh, this isn't as bad as like Hoover's usual rubbish, because I think I was repressing some of this. But then I pull his mouth to mine and I kiss him. I kiss him for always having the perfect thing to say. I kiss him for always being there for me. I kiss him for supporting whatever decision I think I might need to make. I kiss him for being so patient with me while I figure everything out. I kiss him because I can't think of anything better than climbing back inside that car with him and talking about everything we'll do when we get to Hawaii. Sunday, October 28th, 2012, 7:50 a.m. They've been driving around pointlessly, much like the narrative. As much as I love Karen, I have no idea how to grasp what she did. There isn't a situation in the world that could ever make stealing a child okay, except, you know, when the child is being repeatedly assaulted by their father. Hoover, you are so obvious you can't even consider her books to have twists. They go to a hotel, right? She's so exhausted from her day, and he glances at me and does a double take when he sees I'm only wearing a t-shirt and underwear, which, yeah, I'm sure it's entirely normal for a traumatized teenager who until now has never exposed herself to anyone to be insistent upon walking around only in her underwear in a strange location. He eyes me, but only for a second before he glances away uncomfortably. He's trying to be respectful considering the day I've had. I don't want him treating me like I'm fragile. If this were any other day, he'd be commenting on what I was wearing and his hands would be on my ass in 2 seconds flat. He grabs a pair of boxer shorts and walks around me toward the bathroom, careful not to look at me. As he passes me, I grab his wrist. He stops and turns around, carefully looking me in the eyes and nowhere else. Can you do me a favor? Of course, babe, he says sincerely. I slide my hand through his, then bring it to my mouth. I lightly kiss his palm, then rest it against my cheek. I know you're worried about me, but if what's happening in my life is causing you to feel uncomfortable about being attracted to me to the point that you can't even look at me when I'm half naked, it'll break my heart. You're the only person I have left, Holder. Please don't treat me differently. Literally, go away. Imagine that in stronger words. No one would be thinking this crap after having such a terrible day. No one would be begging to be objectified after having their life turned upside down. I really need to shower, he says between kisses. But now that I have the go-ahead to still treat you the same, he grabs my ass and pulls me against him. Don't fall asleep while I'm in there, because when I get out, I want to show you just how incredible I think you look right now. This is smut for morons. Gee, I bet that underage girl looks really hot. Describe it to us, Coho, in the way you like to spend hours thinking about. Sunday, October 28th, 2012, 5:15 p.m. They sleep and eat, and Holder gives her a note in her burger. Just because you don't have a phone anymore and your life is crazy dramatic, I still don't want your ego exploding. You looked really homely in your t-shirt and panties. I really hope you buy yourself some fitted pajamas today so I don't have to look at your chicken legs again all night. Grow up. When I set the note down and look at him, he's grinning at me. His dimples are so adorable, I actually lean over and lick one this time. Grow up, ×2. I shake my head. Not your face, your dimple. And no, you're the only guy I've ever had the urge to lick. He smiles at me confidently. Good, because you're the only girl I've ever had the urge to love. Bah! They walk and talk. You have to understand how surreal this feels for me, Sky. I've thought about what happened to you every single day for the past 13 years. And to think I've been living 2 miles away from you for 7 of those years, I'm still having a hard time processing it myself. Yeah, probably because it's ridiculously unrealistic. Anyway, back when What's-Its-Face got kidnapped, Holder only told Les because his mum wasn't listening to him. And then Sky's dad came home looking for her, and of course he's the chief of police and a rapist. But Holder gets scared and takes ages to tell them all what happened, and he locks himself in his room, and then forever he blames himself for all of this because clearly a 6-year-old should know better. Sky's dad also blames Holder, but who cares about what he thinks? He's a nonce. Holder was 6, Colleen, not a Navy SEAL. He's allowed to let people down at the age of 6 and not have to hold on to that forever. Is that why he's called Holder? I remember one night, the last night my mother allowed us to watch the coverage on TV. One of the reporters showed a panned out image of both our houses. They mentioned the only witness, but referred to me as the boy who lost hope. Would someone really do that to a 6-year-old? Hearing his words and the desolation in his voice causes me nothing but guilt. One would think that what happened to me would be so traumatic that it would have affected me more than the people around me. However, I barely even remember it. It was such an uneventful occurrence in my life, yet it practically ruined him and Leslie. Go away, Colleen. Audience who have seen other videos, you don't need me to explain this, but for new viewers, like, comment, subscribe. This is a thing that happens in Coho books, wherein a woman's trauma never actually gives her too much grief, yeah, or it's said in quite like an unemotional, like not very expression-y way. It always affects the menfolk more because they've got to have more issues to seem more deep or whatever. Sky wants to see her house for more memories to unrepressed, so they do that, but it does nothing. 13 years earlier, Hope doesn't like her house and Leslie teaches her to tie her shoelaces. Sunday, October 28th, 2012, 7:10 p.m. Sky decides to break into her old house to see her room. He does raise a good point though. How am I supposed to get inside? I purse my lips and think, then snap my fingers. The birdhouse. There's a birdhouse on the back porch with a key in it. I turn and run to the backyard, shocked when I see there actually is a birdhouse. I reach my fingers inside and sure enough, there's a key. The mind is a crazy thing. That being unchanged for 13 years is also a crazy thing. Even crazier is convenient memories to help the plot unlocked. She sneaks through the house alone and finds her room, and then she has a traumatic memory. 13 years earlier. Trigger warning. Content warning. Warning, warning, warning. Colleen Hoover. She has a memory of her dad calling her princess, giving her a present, and then he rapes her. Sunday, that it's not written in graphic detail, but you know what's going on. Coho doesn't need to write it out. Sunday, October 28, 2012, 7:29 a.m. Then we are back at the prologue and Sky starts trashing the room. It's pretty much copy and pasted. Holder takes her back to the hotel and tries to fix her bedroom first. I tried to get the images out of my head of what I remember happening to me at night in my room, but they won't go away. How any father could do that to his little girl, it's beyond my comprehension. I tell myself that it never happened, that I'm imagining it, but every part of me knows it did happen. Every part of me remembers why I was happy to get in that car with Karen. Every part of me that remembers all the nights I've made out with guys in my bed, never feeling a single thing while looking up at the stars. Every part of me that broke out into a full-blown panic attack the night Holder and I almost had sex. Every single part of me remembers, and I would do anything just to forget. What's worse, an abusive dad or Coho's abuse of the use of repetition? This book would be 30% shorter if all of this banality was cut. She realizes Karen was rescuing her from her dad. I'm sorry, I should never have let you go inside. He's blaming himself again. He always feels like he's done something terrible when I feel like he's been nothing short of my hero. He's been with me for all of this, steadily carrying carrying me through my panic attacks and freakouts until I'm calm. He's done nothing but be there for me, yet he still feels like somehow this is his fault. Yes, of course, the man's feelings usurps the woman's trauma. Build an altar for him already, Jesus. Sky indirectly tells Holder her father was abusing her. No, Sky, he whispers. No. Sorry, it's not fun. It shouldn't be. Am I the bad guy? No, he says again, not wanting to believe what I'm saying. I grab fistfuls of his shirt and just cry while he holds me with such conviction that makes me love him for hating my father just as much as I do. Again, I don't care about some random bloke's feelings on this matter. Coho always does this. It's like the man has to validate the woman by caring as much, if not even more, because men clearly care deeper or think more than silly little women. I can just picture Holder squeezing his eyes shut and punching a wall in his passion. I can't go back to the father who has rightful custody over me. I can't go back to the woman who wrongfully took me. Are you dumb? How dumb are you? Are we still pretending that she just wrongfully randomly took Sky without knowing the situation? As if a cushy life with Karen is worse than being chucked into social care. Hoover would probably rather be chucked into social care than live with a vegan, I suppose. Do you reckon Hoover was being like, oh, living with a nonce or living with a vegan? Oh, I can't decide. It's like Sophie's choice. I don't like remembering what happened all those nights my father came into my room. Really? You don't like remembering being abused by your father? Wow, Hoover, tell us how she really feels. So then, of course, Sky starts trying it on with Holder and asks him to have sex with her, and then she starts begging for it. Please, I beg. Please, Holder, I need this. He pulls my hands from his shirt and takes 2 steps back. He shakes his head, still completely confused. I'm not doing this, Sky. We're not doing this. You're in shock or something. I don't know. I don't even know what to say right now. I sink back onto the bed in defeat. The tears start flowing again. I look up at him in complete desperation. Please. I drop my gaze to my hands and fold them together in my lap, unable to look him in the eyes when I speak. Holder, he's the only one that's ever done that to me. It's like, imagine they tried to sign me up to do an audiobook for Colleen Hoover. Like every other page, I'd just be groaning in frustration. He's the only person who's ever done that to me. I slowly raise my eyes back to meet his. I need you to take that away from him. Please. Stand up, lady. Don't beg. He doesn't want our first time to be this way. I wish it wasn't. But sometimes factors other than love make these decisions for you. Factors like hate. Sometimes in order to get rid of the hate, you become desperate. He knows hate and he knows pain, and right now he knows how much I need this, whether he agrees with it or not. No, Colleen, this rationale of yours is actually mental. Holder then begrudgingly agrees to do it. What a martyr. Or maybe he's watching me like he is because he's afraid I'm about to have another panic attack. I'm not even sure that I won't, but I have to do this. I can't let my father own this part of me for one more second. Yeah, no, Hoover, don't tell teenagers this. Therapy is what Sky needs, not even more penis. You can't overwrite trauma like this, you dumb hack. Holder has a magic wand down there apparently. Why doesn't he just slap some sense into her? Colleen's already established that works. He doesn't ask if I'm sure if this is what I want. He knows I'm sure, so the question remains unspoken. He lowers his lips to mine and kisses me while he removes my bra and underwear. I'm glad he's kissing me because it gives me an excuse to close my eyes. I don't like the way he's looking at me, like he wishes he were anywhere else right now than here with me. So he doesn't even want to do it. Is she coercing him? Also, there is no way, right, if he's a good person, that any of this is a turn on for him, that his girlfriend is asking him to have sex with her to overwrite memories of her being assaulted as a child. If he manages to get up for this the whole way through, then sorry, that is a massive red flag. Though I'm sure in Coho's head, Sky is just so hot that he can't help but constantly want her, even when she's being this irrational due to her trauma. Editor's note. Mine, as in his penis, turned into an innie while reading this. And I was like, here are some facts about your innie. Your innie doesn't like to read Colleen Hoover. It's a Severance reference. Go watch Severance. I don't know if that's what I need. I don't know if it will ruin things between us. But right now I'm so desperate to take this one thing away from my father, I'd risk it all. My arms that are wrapped tightly around him begin to shake and I cry. He keeps his head buried in my neck and cradles my face in his hand. But as soon as he hears my tears, I can feel him attempting to hold back his own. The fact that this is causing him just as much distress lets me know that he understands. I think this is the weirdest sex scene Colleen has ever written. Neither of them want to do it, but are forcing it. Sky is coercing him, but she's also coercing herself whilst crying. And somehow he's still hard while she's sobbing. What is going on? But it's low-key funny because she's still doing the ultimate understanding man trope. And this is the dumbest logical conclusion to which it could have led. 10 out of 10. He enters her for a bit and then he stops. Thank God. I can't do it, he says. It feels wrong, Sky. It feels wrong because you feel so good, but I'm regretting every single second of it. He stands up and pulls his pants on, then grabs his shirt and the room key from the dresser. He never looks back at me as he exits the hotel room without another word. I immediately crawl off the bed and get in the shower because I feel dirty. I feel guilty for having him do what he just did, and I'm hoping the shower will somehow wash away that guilt. I scrub every inch of my body with soap until it hurts, but it doesn't help. I've successfully taken another intimate moment and ruined it for him. Again, it's the constant pedestaling of the man's feelings above her own, the girl with the actual sexual trauma. But also, what a weird passage. She then decides to leave Holder and run away, but he's back and covered in blood. I left because I was mad at myself. I back out of his grasp and turn back onto the bed, not wanting to watch as he places even more blame on himself. It's okay. I walk back to the bed and lift the covers. I can't expect you to want me in that way right now. It's not about that, lady. It was wrong and selfish and way out of line for me to ask me for you to do that, and I'm really sorry. I lie down on the bed and roll away from him so he can't see my tears. Let's just go to sleep, okay? My voice is much calmer than I expected it to be. I really don't want him to feel bad. He's done nothing but be here for me throughout all of this, and I've done nothing but for him in return. The best thing I could do for him at this point is just break it off so he doesn't, oh my God, so he doesn't feel obligated to stand by me through this. He doesn't owe me a thing. I think I'm having a hard time with this because I don't want you. He walks around to the side of the bed that I'm facing and he kneels down. Sky, I'm having a hard time with this because everything that's happened to you is breaking my heart and I have no idea how to help you. I want to be there for you and help you through this, but every word that comes out of my mouth feels like the wrong one. Every time I touch you or kiss you, I'm afraid you don't want me to. Now you're asking me to have sex with you because you want to take that from him, and I get it. I absolutely get where you're coming from, but it doesn't make it easier to make love to you when you can't even look me in the eyes. It hurts so much because you don't deserve for it to be like this. You don't deserve this life, and there isn't a thing I can do to make it better for you. I want to make it better, but I can't, and I feel so helpless. Right, of course. She's so shallow. She thought he rejected her because he didn't want her because she's actually not hot or something. But then he's got to mansplain to her that her being assaulted as a child is a sad and bad thing. I've had enough of you, Colleen Hoover. And also, I can't believe all the angst was over a misunderstanding despite them being so in tune with one another as we're constantly told. And it turns out he's even more virtuous and understanding than the last time he revealed that to be his personality. Get bent. He tells her he loves her. I'm actually going to stab myself in the eye. I don't know what's coming out next. I love you too. I don't know what I'd do right now if I didn't have you, Holder. I love you so much and I'm so sorry. I wanted you to be my first and I'm sorry he took that from you. I'm not repeating the next thing I said. Use your imagination. In what universe, Coho, except your one, would a victim of incestuous child assault be thinking more about her boyfriend's feelings above her own and apologise to him for it? Go away. Also, both of you, stop hiding in a hotel and seek professional help. Oh wait, you can't, because not going into medical debt is apparently communism. Holder adamantly shakes his head and shushes me with a quick kiss. Don't you ever say that again. Don't you ever think that again. Hoover then thinks she covers herself by having Saint Martyr Holder tell her, don't you dare apologise, but you are not slick, Hoover. It's unacceptable to have a random teenage boy think more deeply about the FMC's trauma than the one who was actually traumatised by it. She needs therapy, not a teenage boy. They then start making out again, and then Holder stops to mansplain sexual trauma to her. I want to make love to you, Sky, and I think you want it too, but I need you to understand something first. He squeezes my hand and bends down. Like, who is this guy? Is he training to be like a sexual trauma psychologist? What are his credentials, Hoover? He squeezes my hand and bends down, kissing another escaping tear. I know it's hard for you to allow yourself to feel this. You've gone so long training yourself to block the feelings and emotions anytime someone touches you, but I want you to know that what your father physically did to you isn't what hurt you as a little girl. It's what he did to your faith in him that broke your heart. You suffered through one of the worst things a child can go through at the hands of your hero. I don't like that this is a plot point. the person you idolized. And I can't even begin to imagine what that must have felt like. But remember that the things he did to you are in no way related to the two of us when we're together like this. When I touch you, I'm touching you because I want to make you happy. When I kiss you, I'm kissing you because you have the most incredible mouth I've ever seen, and you know I can't not kiss it. And when I make love to you, I'm doing exactly that. I'm making love to you because I'm in love with you. The negative feeling you've been associating with physical touch your whole life doesn't apply to me. It doesn't apply to us. I'm touching you because I'm in love with you and for no other reason. You are not a mental health professional, and no, Hoover, this is not a good replacement for therapy. His gentle words flood my heart and ease my nerves. He kisses me softly and I relax beneath his hand, a hand that's touching me out of nothing but love. I respond by completely dissolving into him, allowing my lips to follow his, my hands to intertwine with his, my rhythm to match his. I can't believe I'm doing this and stuff. They remastered Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2, and I got it for Christmas, and I could be playing that right now. Which, by the way, I'm going to use my platform for good. Definitely buy, if you like playing video games, definitely buy Legacy of Kain, the remaster, game 1 and 2. Because imagine they get enough sales that they actually, because they had another Legacy of Kain that was in the works, but then I think, was it Crystal Dynamics? I think the game studio shut down. So then they just never, did it. And then the writer of it went on to do Uncharted and another, what's her name? Amy Hennig? Look at that mind. Amy Hennig. She worked for Naughty Dog. They did Crash Bandicoot. She went on to work for Crystal Dynamics, working primarily on the Legacy of Kain series, which she considers her greatest achievement. And an achievement it's incredible. She worked on Jak and Daxter and then the Uncharted series. So yes, if you like playing video games, definitely play Legacy of Kain Defiance, because you think my voice acting is good. You gotta listen to the voice acting in that. It's just a great game series. It's very Lovecraftian, very, very, very good. And maybe if enough of us buy it, they'll make some money from it, and then maybe there'll be a bit of renewed interest in finally getting, what was it, the 6th game? I think the 6th game in the series. Maybe that'll finally happen. Anyway, highly recommend. 10 out of 10. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, trauma. I quickly become invested, ready to experience him because I want to and for no other reason. That happened quickly, didn't it? He immediately covers my mouth with his, and the familiar sweet mixture of him seeps into my mouth at the same moment he pushes inside me, filling me with so much more than just himself. He fills me with his honesty, his love for me, and for a moment he fills me with a piece of our forevers. Good God. I am actually shell-shocked by how nonsensical this is. This is the smut that people over on Goodreads cry over. Bloody hell. Read my books instead, or play Legacy of Kain. Either or. I would love to see the conversations between her and her editors. I wonder if they ever flag any of this or even see anything wrong with it. Shouldn't this underage teen be seeking help, Colleen? No. I need to write about her having sex in this hotel first. Monday, October 29th, 2012, 9:50 a.m. Sky wants to see the house again to unlock even more trauma. Fine. I told you I would do whatever it was you felt you needed to do, but I'm not hanging all those clothes back up, he says, pointing to the bags by the closet. I laugh and rush at him, throwing my arms around his neck. You're the best, most understanding boyfriend in the whole wide world. He sighs and returns my hug. No, I'm not, he says, pressing his lips to the side of my head. I'm the most whipped boyfriend in the whole wide world. Why are they laughing and giggling like they're going on a fun field trip and not back to the house of horrors? Is it because Holder hasn't explained to her that she should be concerned about that? Because he understands her better than she does? Not because they're bonded or whatever, just because she's stupid? Monday, October 29th, 2012, 4:50 p.m. So they see Sky's father, but we get zero description of him. Then Sky decides she can't let him get away with doing it to other children. So then this happens. I know I need to see him. I need to speak to him. I need to know why he did what he did to me. When my father unlocks the front door and disappears inside, Holder lets out a huge breath. Now, he says, turning towards me. I know beyond a doubt he would tackle me right now if he expected me to do what I'm about to do. Just so I don't give off any clues, I force a smile and nod. Yeah, we can go now. So she, instead of leaving, runs out of the car to go confront her father, the police chief rapist paedophile who definitely carries a gun. Genius. Holder gets out and picks her up, and then Sky's father comes out to see what all the commotion is about. Turn around, my father's voice is more demanding this time. Holder pauses right along with me now, both of us knowing the ramifications of ignoring the directions of a cop. Wow, who could have seen this power dynamic coming? Anyway, the dad recognizes her. Monday, October 29, 2012, 4:35 p.m. Sky then passes out from all the excitement, comes to, father is happy to see her and crying. Holder calls him a pervert. Father is like, no, Hope, they've lied to you. Sky demands answers. Father says, let's talk inside. Holder makes him leave both of his guns. Before I step inside, Holder spins me around to to face him. I'm staying right here with the door open. I don't trust him. Don't go any further than the living room. You're leaving her inside alone with him? I don't care if he's only 10 feet away. Stand next to her. They chat. Father says he regrets all the abuse. He says he got drunk after her mum died and only did it once. But Sky is like, no, you did it every night, actually. And then Holder, then hearing this, deigns to come in and sit next to her. Father has no other children and didn't remarry, but won't reply when she asks if she was the only child she did this to, because he definitely ended up doing it to Leslie, and that's why she committed suicide. It feels so wrong leaving him to live his life like he is, but I'm also terrified of what might happen if I report him. I'm scared of how much my life will change. I'm scared that no one will believe me since it was so many years ago. But what terrifies me more than any of that is the fear that I love him too much to want to ruin the rest of his life. Being in his presence not only reminds me of all the horrible things he did to me, but also reminds me of the father he once was underneath all of that. Being inside this house is causing a hurricane of emotions to build within me. I look at the table in the kitchen and begin to recall good memories of conversations we had sitting there. I look at the back door and remember us running outside to go watch the trains pass by in the field behind our house. Everything about my surroundings is filling me with conflicted memories, and I don't like loving him just as much as I hate him. Sky knew him for all of 5 years before she was kidnapped, yeah? And for at least one of those 5 years, he was assaulting her night after night. So I don't buy this whole, I love him as much as I hate him, in the slightest. Colleen Hoover. 14 years earlier. I close my eyes and try to fall asleep so I'll feel better. I'm almost asleep when I hear my doorknob turn, so I open my eyes. My daddy walks in and smiles down at my mummy and me. He stops smiling when he sees me though, because he can tell I don't feel good. My daddy doesn't like it when I feel sick because he loves me and it makes him sad. I don't feel good, daddy, I whisper. He frowns when I say that. I should have just told him I felt good, so he wouldn't frown. 4-year-olds don't rationalize like this. Anyway, he sings her to sleep. Guess that makes up for all the paedophilia then. I know Coho is just trying to show us that people are complicated, but too bad I don't care. Monday, October 29th, 2012, 4:57 p.m. Sky pretends to sympathize with him so she can get her answers. He shakes his head and touches my face with his hand. No hope. I loved you so much. I still do. I loved you and your mother more than life itself, but when she died, the best parts of me died right along with her. I fist my hands, recoiling slightly at the feel of his fingertips on my cheek. I push through though and somehow manage to keep calm. I'm sorry you had to go through that, I say firmly, and I am sorry for him. I remember how much he loved my mother, and regardless of how we dealt with his grief, I can find it in me to wish he had never had to experience her loss. I don't know, dude. Plenty of people manage to deal with grief without becoming nonces. Tremors are still racking my body, so I wrap my arms around myself. Holder can feel what this is doing to me, so he slides his fingers down my arm until he finds my pinky, then wraps his around it. It's an extremely small gesture, but he couldn't have done anything more perfect to fill me with the sense of security that I need from him right now. Man does nothing, gets congratulated for it. More Hoover news at 7. Father admits one time he got drunk and did something to his own sister. Can you guess who that is? Oh, and there's another person he used to abuse when he was drunk, and it was Leslie. My heart suddenly weighs 1,000 pounds. The grip around my arm is gone, and I look up to see Holder falling apart right before my eyes. And now Holder gets to have the trauma spotlight and attention because things are always worse for men or something. Whilst Holder freaks out, content warning. Sorry, this book is so dramatic. Father grabs a random gun he had hiding behind the sofa, says sorry to Sky, calls the police on his radio, and shoots himself. Holder and Sky then drive away before the police arrive. Like, the police go towards the house as they're leaving it, and they get away with this. Monday, October 29, 2012, 5:29 p.m. They go back to the hotel. The curtain panels are open, revealing nothing but a gloomy view of the brick building just feet away from the hotel. It's just a solid wall of brick with no visible windows or doors. Just brick. Looking out the window at the brick wall is how I feel when I view my own life. I try to look to the future, but can't see past this moment. Again, better writers would have let the symbolism speak for itself and wouldn't have to hold your hand through it. If you didn't catch that, she's the brick in the brick of the brick wall that she's looking out at. Brick. She then goes on about the brick wall metaphor for several paragraphs to really hammer it home that she thinks her audience is stupid. I mechanically reach over and slip my... content warning. Brains. I mechanically reach over and slip my fingers over a strand of his hair, then pull my hand up to inspect it. I slide the blood around between my fingertips, but it's thick. It's thicker than blood should be. That's because it's not only my father's blood that's all over us. So they are covered in his brains. No one noticed on the drive home, through the hotel, none of the staff, no one noticed. The police didn't notice as they were coming from his house. Holder then cleans all of the brains off of them in the shower, and then they have a good cry. I don't want to remember his face. I don't want to remember his voice. I don't want to remember how much I hate him, and I especially don't want to remember how much I loved him. How is there even more repetition to contend with? There's more stupidity and needing a man's validation instead of getting therapy to deal with a complex issue. He's in so much pain because of what my father did to Leslie, and I can't help but place some of that blame on myself. If I had been around, he never would have touched Leslie and she never would have suffered. If I had never climbed into that car with Karen, Leslie might be alive today. I curl my hands up behind Holder's arms and grip his shoulders. I lift my cheek and turn my mouth towards his neck, kissing him softly. I'm so sorry. He never would have touched her if I... Holder grabs my arms and pushes me away from him with such force. My eyes widen and I flinch when he speaks. Don't you dare say that. He releases his hold and swiftly brings his hands to my face, gripping me tightly. I don't want you to ever apologise for a single thing that man did. Not dead. Well, he is, but... Do you hear me? It's not your fault, Sky. Swear to me that you'll never let a thought like that consume you ever again. This is so contrived. Anyway, they then, after, the sensual showering of Sky's father's brains off of them, they then decide to start having sex to stop thinking about the suicide and Leslie's abuse. Sex is not a magical healer, Coho. People are apparently just switches that you can flip on and off. No need to think about all of the abuse and suicide. There's sex to be had. Switch on. And yet she can't stop loving her dad. That's a switch that can never be flipped. I got bored of their frantic lovemaking, so I did a bit of Googling, and this is book 1 of 5. Book 2 is Holder's past and POV. What? By book 5, are we going to get the nonsense dad's POV? I can't wait. You know how I feel about you, he says. You know how much I love you. You know I would do whatever I could to take your pain away, right? I nod because I do know, and looking into his eyes right now, seeing the raw honesty in them, the naked truth. I know he's felt this way about me long before this moment. I need that from you so bad right now, Sky. I need to know you love me like that. They are 17 and 18 respectively. Just how many times a day do they need these intense world-altering affirmations? Imagine being the third wheel, just trying to enjoy your mouldy feastables, but you get treated to this endless yammering. Anyway, her way of showing him how much she loves him is to just do it cow. My goodness, this is stupid. In a way, he makes me feel necessary, like my existence alone is necessary for his survival. Gen Zers, is this just a trauma bond? Is this the trauma bond? Anyway, they have the most saccharine, boring sex, and I hate every sentence of it. It's just her going on about her feelings as she half-heartedly pounds into him. He releases a vast breath, and it's almost as if I can see the pain literally escaping him. Sex is not an adequate replacement for therapy, especially if you've seen someone blow their brains out, Coho. Monday, October 29th, 2012, 11:35 p.m. Holder is off stargazing. I know how much Leslie meant to him, and I know what his heart is going through today. I know exactly what he's feeling, because our pain is shared now. Whatever he goes through, I feel. Whatever I go through, he feels. It's what happens when two people become one. They no longer share only love. They also share all of the pain, heartache, sorrow, and grief. Sure, but also what a load of crap. It's like Coho's greatest desire is to merge with someone and become one pathetic sludge of a person. 13 years earlier. Hope is with Karen, who explains that she is adopting her, and Hope picks out her new name, Sky. Also, her full name is Lyndon Sky Davis. Okay. Tuesday, October 20th, 2012, 12:10 a.m. Sky is conflicted about Karen. I'm scared of how disconnected I feel from Hope. I know we're the same person, but I feel like what happened to her didn't really happen to me. I feel like I abandoned her, like I left her there crying against that house, terrified for all of eternity, while I just got into that car and rode away. Now I'm two completely separate people. I'm this little girl scared eternally to death, but I'm also the girl who abandoned her. I feel so guilty for putting up this wall between both our lives, and I'm scared neither of those lives or those girls will ever feel whole again. Well, this is nothing an average round of tepid lovemaking won't fix. In lieu of Sky going to actual therapy, Holder just tells her a technique a short-term therapist once told him, a therapist he got just because his parents divorced, not because of any childhood sexual trauma. So then she visualizes saying stuff to Hope, and we get a triple whammy of repetition. I know, because I've been through exactly what you're going through. I know how bad it hurts your heart that your daddy did this to you, because he did it to me too. I know how much you hate him for it, but I also know how much you love him because he's your daddy. And it's okay, Hope. It's okay to love the good parts of him, because he's not all that bad. It's also okay to hate those bad parts of him that make you so sad. It's okay to feel whatever you need to feel. Just promise me that you will never, ever feel guilty. Promise me that you will never blame yourself. It's not your fault. You're just a little girl, and it's not your fault that your life is so much harder than it needs to be. And as much as you'll want to forget these things ever happened to you, as much as you'll want to forget this part of your life existed, I need for you to remember. Oh my God. Do you know how many swear words I'm redacting right now? More monologuing. Holder begins to sit up, so I move up with him. The amount of monologuing. I am a yapper. I swear I've never yapped as much as these, like to anyone, as these people do to each other. Oh my God. Still beautiful. Holder begins to sit up, so I move up with him. He turns towards me, takes my face in his hands. No, Sky, you didn't tell her everything. You told you everything. Those things happened to you, not to someone else. They happened to Hope. They happened to Sky. They happened to the best friend that I loved all those years ago, and they happened to the best friend I love who's looking back at me right now. He presses his lips to mine and kisses me, then pulls away. It's not until I look back at him that I notice he's crying with me. You need to be proud of the fact that you survived everything you went through as a child. Don't separate yourself from that life. Embrace it, because I'm so proud of you. Every smile I see on your face just blows me away, because I know the courage and strength it took when you were just a little girl to ensure that part of you remained. And your laugh, my God, Sky, think of how much courage it took you to laugh again after everything that happened to you. And your heart, he says, shaking his head disbelievingly, how your heart can possibly find a way to love and trust a man again proves that I've fallen in love with the bravest woman I've ever known. I know how much courage it took for you to allow me in after what your father did to you. She's only just remembered it, to be fair. She started loving him way before that. And I swear I will spend every last breath thanking you for allowing yourself to love me. Thank you so much for loving me, Lyndon, Sky, Hope. Good God. This is tedious. Sometimes all it takes is a man to endlessly, on every other page, tell you just how amazing you are, all of the time, forever, never stopping and going on and on and on and on about it. Tuesday, October 30th, 2012, 9:05 a.m. Holder is on the phone to Jack and they are going to go home to confront Karen. I forgot who Jack was because he's such a non-entity. Also, father's suicide was on the news and it's not even going to be looked into, which is convenient. Sky emails Six to let her know that she's okay, and it's funny because why do Coho pro tags either have no friends or only make friends with their boyfriend's friends or have friends but they aren't in the story at all? Is it so Hoover doesn't have to bother writing scenes that are not about or directly with men in them? They go to eat before leaving and they yap and it's boring, except he shakes his head. That's because I've been thinking about forever with you the moment I saw you in the grocery store. You need to calm down. Are you on birth control? He asks in a hushed voice. His question makes me laugh because it isn't really all that personal when you're asking the girl you're having sex with. No, I'm not, I admit. I've never really had a reason to be on it before you came barging into my life. Well, I want you on it, he says decisively. Make an appointment this week. I balk at his rudeness. You could ask me a little more politely, you know. Ugh. He arches an eyebrow as he takes a sip of his drink, then places it calmly back down on the table in front of him. My bad, he smiles and flashes his dimples at me. Let me rephrase my words then, he says, lowering his voice to a husky whisper. I plan on making love to you, Sky. A lot. Pretty much any chance we get. Because I rather enjoyed you this weekend, despite the circumstances surrounding it all. So in order for me to continue to make love with you, I would much prefer it if you would make alternative contraceptive arrangements so that we don't find ourselves in a pregnancy-induced marriage with an expiration date on it. Do you think you could do that for me so that we can continue having lots and lots and lots of sex? Imagine overhearing an 18-year-old say all of that. It's like an ancient ghoul trapped in a young body. Sky loves this because she's dumb. Also, a waitress overheard. How embarrassing. I would quit. It should be illegal for the words make love and sex to flow past your lips when in the presence of any female besides the one who actually gets to experience you. I don't think you realise what you do to women. Oh my God, that's so Twilight coded. Ain't it? He shakes his head and attempts to brush off my comment. I'm serious, Holder. Without trying to explode your ego, you should know that you're incredibly appealing to pretty much any female with a pulse. Don't worry about me, Sky. I'd just spit on him. Not in a sexual way either. I've somehow eaten half the food on my plate. His presence alone works wonders for a wounded soul. No! Tuesday, October 20th, 2012, 7:20 p.m. Sky is nervous about seeing Karen. I shift in my seat to face him. I'm scared, though no matter what she says to me today, I'll never be able to forgive her. I know that my life turned out better with her than it would have been if I had stayed with my father, but she had no way of knowing that when she stole me from him. The fact that I know what she's capable of makes it impossible for me to forgive her. If I couldn't forgive my father for what he did to me, then I feel like I shouldn't forgive her either. How stupid is Sky exactly? Remember at the beginning, Sky claimed that she was smart. It's incredibly obvious Karen kidnapped Sky on purpose to keep her away from her dad. Otherwise, it would be too much of a random coincidence. Also, kidnapping a child from an abusive home isn't on par with a father assaulting his own child. So I don't know what the last line about forgiveness is about. The fact that Jack is here, still supporting her, makes me wonder if Karen actually told him the truth about what she did. I doubt he would be here if he knew the truth. You don't even know the truth. These books aren't catered for people with ADHD, I've decided on behalf of every ADHDer, because I know from Sky's dumb perspective, it seems like she knows the whole truth, but we know she doesn't. We know she's formed the wrong conclusion, so all of this is a giant waste of time, and my ADHD-driven impatience actually can't take it. She sees Karen, who said she was going to tell Sky the truth when she turned 18. Karen's going to be the sister the dad used to assault, isn't she? So, Karen's dad died when she was a child, and then her mum died when she was a teen. Why does this happen in every Coho book? It's like Colleen Hoover bingo, parents equal dead. So her older brother, John, looked after her, started drinking, started physically abusing her, then started assaulting her every single night. I was right. Anyway, Karen's friend tried reporting the abuse to the police, but John was already a cop, so the case got dismissed. Karen ran away from him and never spoke to him again. Years later, Karen spotted him and Sky at the shops and could tell John was abusing Sky, so she began investigating them and tried to report the abuse anonymously, but it got dismissed again, so then Karen decided to take Sky away from him. Anyway, Sky leaves to digest everything. Tuesday, October 20th, 2012, 8:45 p.m. They go to the airport to stargaze. She tells Holder that Karen is her biological aunt. I confirm this statement with a nod. She wants me to decide, Holder. She wants me to choose what happens next. The problem is, I don't know what choice is the right one. He takes my entire hand in his now, intertwining our fingers. That's because none of them are the right choice. He says, sometimes you have to choose between a bunch of wrong choices and no right ones. You just have to choose which wrong choice feels the least wrong. Sorry, but why is Holder so wise with all of the answers? Making Karen pay for something she did out of complete selflessness is without a doubt the worst wrong choice. I know it in my heart, but it's still a struggle to accept that what she did is something that should have no consequences. I know she didn't know it at the time, but the fact that Karen took me away from my father only led to what happened to Leslie. It's hard to ignore that Karen's taken me indirectly led to what happened to my best friend, to the only other girl in Holder's life whom he feels he let down. No, Colleen, John raping Leslie, a child, is all on John, not on Karen. I know that what my father did to Les was only done because I wasn't there taking her place, and I know there was no way Karen could have foreseen what he would do. Hold on. I know she tries to do the right thing by reporting him before she became so desperate, but what happens to us? To you and... Oh, she's talking to Holder. To you and me, when we try to go back to how things were before. I'm scared you'll hate Karen forever, or that you'll eventually begin to resent me for whatever choice I make tonight. I'm not saying I don't want you to feel whatever it is you need to feel. If you need to hate Karen for what happened to Les, I understand. I guess I just need to know that whatever I choose, I need to know. I attempt to find the most eloquent way to say it, but I can't. Sometimes the simplest questions are the hardest to ask. I squeeze his hand and look him in the eyes. Holder, will you be okay? How is this about some bloke? Also, Hoover, do you know it will help Holder if he did start to feel resentment towards Karen and towards Sky? Therapy. Holder is all, well, I know the truth now. I don't blame Karen. John would have been a paedophile even if Karen hadn't taken Sky away. AKA, he's the teenage boy voice of reason because the hysterical teenage girl can't be. Maybe they both should consult that small boy from whom Atlas gets relationship advice from. Then they look for a box Karen gave Sky of her mother's items. Tuesday, October 30th, 2012, 10:15 p.m. She goes home and thanks Karen for saving her. We cry. We cry mother to daughter. We cry aunt to niece. We cry victim to victim. We cry survivor to survivor. I'm actually going to start crying. I don't know what Hoover was drinking when she wrote this one, but the repetition is probably the worst it's ever been. Karen spends the evening patiently answering all of my questions. My main question was that I didn't understand how I could have a legal name and the documents to back it up. Karen laughed at that question and explained that with enough money and the right connections, I was conveniently adopted from out of the country and obtained my citizenship when I was 7. I don't even ask her for the details because I'm scared to know. And Karen made all of this money and connections from selling herbs, did she? Was it a flea market she went to, or was it a black market? Is it herbs or is it shipments of cocaine? Who knows? Now Jack knows the truth. He can move in with her and Karen, because Karen was keeping her life on hold because she she didn't know how Sky was going to respond when she turns 18. I was actually fine with this, to be honest. Also, now they are finally allowed to get a TV. The things that knock you down in life are tests, forcing you to make a choice between giving in and remaining on the ground, or wiping the dirt off and standing up even taller than you did before you were knocked down. I'm choosing to stand up taller. I'll probably get knocked down a few more times before this life is through with me, but I can guarantee you I'll never stay on the ground. This is like the speech from Rocky Balboa to Milo Ventimiglia, except 100 times worse. It was like it was written by Rocky after even more punches to the head. This is actually going to send me over the edge. Not in the good way. I'm not even joking. I hug and tighten and exhale. Thank you. I lift my head up and rest my chin on his chest, looking up at him as he smiles back to me. And it's not what you just said that I'm thanking you for, Holder. I need to thank you for everything. Thank you for giving me the courage to always ask the questions, even when I didn't want the answers. Thank you for loving me like you love me. Thank you for showing me that we don't always have to be strong to be there for each other, that it's okay to be weak as long as we're there. And thank you for finally finding me after all these years. I trail my fingers across his chest until they reach his arm. I run them across each letter of his tattoo, then lean forward and press my lips to it and kiss it. But mostly, thank you for losing me all those years ago, because my life wouldn't be the same if you had never walked away. Suddenly, I'm jealous that John and Leslie got to nope themselves out of this story. Is that too edgy? I don't care. 13 years earlier, Dean is stargazing. He turns his head and looks at me, but his eyes look sad. You know, sometimes when your daddy makes you cry, will you promise me that when he makes you sad, you'll think about the sky? I don't know why he wants me to promise me that, but I nod anyway. But why? Because he turns his face back up to the stars. The sky is always beautiful. Even when it's dark or rainy or cloudy, it's still beautiful to look at. It's my favourite thing because I know if I ever get lost or lonely or scared, I just have to look up and it will be there no matter what. And I know it will always be beautiful. It's what you can think about when your daddy is making you sad, so you don't have to think about him. And that's why she called herself Sky. And that is totally natural dialogue for a 6-year-old. The end. Just like Mikasa in Attack on Titan, this was Holder's story all along. Thank you, Koho, for nothing. Anyway, some acknowledgements. And, oh my god, I can't thank you enough, Sarah Augustus Hansen, not only for making me the most beautiful cover ever, but for granting my request for millions of changes, only to end up going for your original suggestion. Your patience with me knows no bounds. For that, I'm declaring Holder yours. Okay, you're giving Holder the teenage wonder boy to some presumably grown-up woman. Okay. For my husband, who insists he be listed in the acknowledgements for this book for suggesting that one word which helped me finish that one sentence in that one paragraph in that one scene. Without that word, it was floodgates, people. I don't think this book would have been completed. He requested I say that. But in a way, he's right. Without the one word he suggested, this book would more than likely have moved along just fine. But without his support, enthusiasm, and encouragement, I could never have written a single word at all. Wow! Is this why coho men do nothing but get praised the entire world? Because her husband is coho male prime #1 for the 3 best children in the whole wide world. I miss the living hell out of y'all. And yes, boys, mummy just cussed. Again. I bet her darling angels are like 30. Finished. We're done. That's all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below what books you'd like me to look at next. I mean, I'm definitely going to do Rival and I'm going to do Midnight Sun. I do have a whole list of stuff and I know I need to finish House of Night, but let me know if there's any other books that you'd like me to get through, because this is now my book channel. You want drama? You go to my drama channel. Too Alizee, Too Furious. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, for listening. If you want to read some good smut, buy my book, Prime Minister's Porky Mistress, available on Amazon now for $2.99. And that's all. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.